Let me just watch this little hottie fucking tee off real quick.
No. We're trying to.
Come on, man.
I'm
dude, look at those legs.
I'm not going to be able to
look
listen.
At those
my
legs.
face is imagining her, like my
dude,
face.
Dude, imagine her just, I mean.
No, I'm not. I don't want to.
Yeah,
dude, it's
a little. Her thighs are a little. Like, I know you say it doesn't matter.
Dude, she is fucking smoke.
She could sit on my face any day.
It's just not.
All right.
Especially
TV's
like walking around the field. Oh no, okay, she's kind of cute now that I see that angle.
Are those her nipples protruding?
Those might be some protrudes.
All right, TV's off.
Fucking douche. I love that I would come over to your house and we're watching fucking golf. Of course,
man.
Of course.
It's the women's
shorts,
amateur at
your
Augusta.
Shorts.
With my shorts.
You're a bothersome man. Ladies and
gentlemen,
gentlemen,
take a little peek?
No, I don't. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 65 of Conservatish. My name is Peter Feliciano.
65.
You can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano, and you can support this at patreon.com/conservatish. Again, our guest today is Mike the Southerner for the third time, and his friend. Well, I'll just call anonymous active service member.
That works for me.
All right, I think that's a little. I think
totally
that's
works
a little
for me.
Better. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
This is the third time I'm doing three recordings at the same time, which actually makes sense. It's better that you wanted to be anonymous because then I don't have to video it and fit the three of us into
one frame.
Yeah, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I haven't seen this motherfucker for 13 years in person.
13 years.
It's been 13 years.
Good for you.
It's been a long time.
I'm just saying, good for you that you haven't seen him in a long time.
Right?
13 fucking years.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm very jealous of you, sir.
Yeah.
That's all I'm.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm just glad he's out here. Neither one of us have stainless steel bracelets on right now, so.
It wasn't always the case.
It wasn't always the case.
Okay.
# mom, we have not gotten arrested this time.
That's good. How many times have you been arrested?
I don't know.
A lot?
I don't know. Just a couple.
I was put in handcuffs once, and then I think it was 15 years old. I stole from a Rite Aid, and they caught me, and they were like, "Is there anything else in your pocket?" And I said, "No." And they're like, "No, seriously, the cops are on their way. Is there anything else in your pocket?" I said, "No." And the cops came, and there was more in my pocket. And then the cop just drove me home.
You were there when beep this name out in Kenner when he hit and beat the
I wasn't there
off
for
of him.
No, I wasn't
Jesus.
there for that.
Yeah. You know how much work I have to do now just to beep names out? It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, some dude was talking massive amounts of shit, went to his house, and his dad came out and hit a teenager, and then
I do remember hearing about that. But
all hell broke loose. The dad got beat up, his arm broke, the son got his face broken, cops came. It was it was pretty bad. And
I feel like this is
a hot summer night laying on the ground of scorching hot cement.
This is a very southern story.
Oh, yeah,
I feel like that doesn't very much happen in the Bay Area. I'm not a connoisseur of Bay Area violence, but I feel like
there's a bunch of preppy white boys that just love to fight, man.
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Absolutely, thank you.
But he's never seen a fight, you know.
Yeah, no, I was fortunate. You know, you spoke earlier about how many times you've been arrested or whatnot, and I'm one of those people where I try to learn my lesson the first time,
right?
Or I learn from other people's mistakes. And fortunately, I've only been arrested once, but it was serious enough to completely change my life around to that I recognized that I had to get out of the city that I was growing up in. It was toxic.
It was New Orleans, right?
It was New Orleans. Yep.
Okay.
And but it also, that just gave me the nudge to go through and join the military, because ever since I was a little kid, I always knew I wanted to join the military, because I do come from a military family. Both grandfathers, my dad, my cousins, everyone was in the military.
So it's a big part of the culture.
Absolutely. Down south, we have much appreciation and respect for our military people, and and
we certainly do. That's the crazy thing. He grew up with a different view of it. I'm just coming aware of it. All both my grandparents. I did not know my mom's father was a military Marine drill instructor. it explains a lot of why he's a grumpy asshole. And
I wonder, like, because you guys know each other from back in the day. So what kept you from going in?
I think it was one of those things of they did it to get us to the next level, so move on, so we don't have to do it.
Okay,
kind of thing. And it wasn't looked at as like you need to follow in our footsteps. It was we sacrifice so you don't have to sacrifice, kind of thing.
Okay, but for you, it was much more like it was a part of the culture. It was a part of your family talked about it a lot.
Yeah, but no one ever had any pressure, none whatsoever. As I remember going through boot camp, and they asked. We were going through boot camp, and there was about 300 of us or so, and they were asking. The colonel in charge asked us. He said, "Who joined for school?" And you had about a good 60% join. Raise their hands.
GI Bill.
And then, the next one was who joined to travel. And there were another 20% raised their hands. And I wasn't, I didn't raise my hand at all. And then he said who joined because they love their country. And just a few of us did, which to me, to each his own. But I did join because I do, 9/11 was fresh, once I joined.
Right.
And that was still in the back of everyone's
2 years?
minds. Yeah, 2 years after 9/11. It would have been sooner, but because when I had gotten arrested, I could not join the military until I finished my probation and paid fines and all this other
right.
shit.
Should we tell the story of the night you got arrested?
No. Well, maybe we'll go into that. But bottom line is, I was never pressured. I just come from a family very patriotic family, very conservative family.
Right.
And I love this country, and it kills me when, people talk shit about this country, because I don't give a fuck what your opinion is until you start traveling to other countries and go to fucking Iraq and Afghanistan and all these other places and see how they treat their women, how they treat their people. There is no such thing as freedom of speech over there.
Right.
Then you'll have a real appreciation for what this country can have to offer. And obviously we do have many problems in this country, whether it be, people say racism or, economic or whatnot, but this country by far is hands down superior to any other country.
Nuisances.
I also, when it comes to you growing up, was there obviously there was a culture of military, but was there a culture of appreciation of America as well?
Oh, absolutely. That's a Southern thing in general. I mean, we love. I mean, you go, where I came from in Florida, which is a military town, but even Louisiana, we're very proud of, we're just proud of America in general. We love this country, and that's it.
It's a pride of where you're from. It's where you're from. It's your roots. We're from the boot. It's gumbo and jambalaya and the Saints and everything that isn't in any other city. Like New Orleans is completely different than any other American city.
Right.
And you're so proud of it. You wear it on your shoulder. You're the underdog. No one counts you in for anything because you're the dirty little stepchild that lives down south, and
you feel like you get that here.
Oh, anywhere.
Okay. What is obviously we hear a lot, or at least I've heard a lot, and I've spent some time in the South, and there is definitely more pride in your country. There's definitely a more military thing. Definitely also a more family thing than there is in the Bay.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, what are the drawbacks to the South?
Drawbacks.
Yeah,
Calm down.
I don't know necessarily if there's certain drawbacks. I mean, we could go from an economic standpoint to where, obviously the South, there's no disagreeing that, generally people don't make as much money. We do have a poor population.
You don't have the
definitely
industry
not
that you have out here.
Yep, definitely not the healthiest. Our public school systems are shit.
Right.
But, there's problems anywhere,
Right.
So, I mean, I could fucking point to California, for example, and start throwing around all the bullshit they got out here.
It's not like our educational system is much better.
Exactly. So, I mean, when you want to talk about Cali, we can go days and days.
You got the jobs and you got the industry out here. Back home, New Orleans is so fucking corrupt for so many years. I mean, you go back to Huey P. Long. I mean, it's just corruption on top of corruption on top of corruption.
Was it mob shit too, or was it mostly fucking just corrupt politicians?
Oh, I would say it's just the umbrella of all of it for sure.
Okay.
And I mean, you look at the oil industry, and I mean, they were big and booming, and then all of a sudden, like, they're moving out to Houston, they're moving to Texas, and now
I didn't even
most
know
of it.
in
I mean,
New
that's where
Orleans,
they're
there was fucking
Absolutely.
oil.
Algiers on the
Yeah,
West
man.
Bank used to be huge oil. When
I mean, even some of my family, like, that's what they were into, and you know, the jobs left and moved to Houston and Galveston and Texas, mainly because of politics, straight up.
And let's get real here. Who wants to build a Fortune 500 company in a fucking crime-infested, corrupted place like New Orleans? And I'm saying that with I love New Orleans. You know?
With all due respect,
But let's
the
get real.
fucking
Let's get
chocolate
real
city.
here.
No,
no
right,
one's
for
going to
sure.
go move a company with thousands of employees
Right.
to a fucking place where you're worried about
only
getting
have-
fucking carjacked.
And this is pre-Katrina. As
this
well.
is
for
fucking
sure.
right. This is pre-Katrina. This is now. This is every fucking
I mean, the
day.
only
Right.
the only big business that you have that's publicly traded that's worth a shit is Entergy, and Entergy's it's spelled Entergy, not energy. It's the main energy conglomerate that controls southern Louisiana.
Right, that and the Saints.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
and if you're a musician, you can go down there. But
you
other than
totally
that-
can, but you're not going to make money if you're a musician.
And in the
Unless you're Lil Wayne.
the tourist industry, as far as hotels, restaurants, stuff like that, that's big down there.
Yeah, but that we're controlled by outside circumstances when it comes to tourism.
Yes.
You know? I mean,
meaning.
the
Well,
economy.
not necessarily. I mean,
100%.
fucking, Mardi Gras is fucking absolutely huge, right? I mean, that's not an outside.
Yeah, but the
That's,
outside circumstances, people traveling in. So if the economy's not doing well and people don't have money, we're not
They're not
seeing
going
them.
to Bourbon Street.
Yeah, but let's
Exactly.
get real. Instead of 1.5 million coming, you're still going to get 1 million. you know?
Maybe.
So I mean, people are still going to come. It just
But I mean,
might not
look
be that many.
when we were kids, how many parades they had compared to now.
I don't know. I don't go to Mardi Gras anymore.
Yeah, I mean it's dramatically reduced. I mean, people just
What's weird too about it, from my experience with New Orleans, is that even though people, I think you and I have talked about it, but even though people are definitely more military, more pride in your country, more family, blah blah blah, and surface nice, but like just under the nice is a large, thick slab of kind of cunty is not the right word, but like kind of aggressive. There's an aggressiveness that's not necessary from my personal experience.
Well,
when I
see-
went down to New Orleans, it was just everybody was like, be nice or leave. Like it was like they're ready
Yeah,
for, they
totally.
want you, they want to say leave or be nice. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to say nice or be leave.
it's pretty much accept our culture and be part of it, or shut your fucking mouth and don't give us your opinion.
Yeah, I completely
Right.
agree with that. Like we don't, and that's the thing. We know who we are. We know what we like. We know what our city's about, and we don't like outsiders to come in and tell us how to act, how to fucking behave. We don't need anybody's bullshit culture
Right.
impressed on our own because
Right.
we already have ours. So if you don't like it, get the fuck out. Because trust me, we're not going to give a shit.
Right.
It makes no difference to us.
So I think there's two things that are, one thing that's good, and it's also weird. So good in the way of, like I on a personal level, on a political level, I don't think, like if I mean, please come into America, like we absolutely immigrate here, blah blah blah, but integrate. You know what I mean? Like become a part of assimilate.
Assimilate.
If I went to
Absolutely.
Germany and I just assumed I would not only get like welfare, but if I went to Germany and I just wanted all the signs changed to English, I would be a dick.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If I went to Germany and I just wanted everyone
Yeah,
to
you'd be
speak
a rude
English
asshole.
to me, I would be rude. I would be self-centered. If I went to Germany and I actually wanted to do it right, I would fucking start learning German. I would want to, like, okay, what's the industry here? What's the culture here? Do I tip here? Do I not tip here? Do I take cabs or do I do Uber? What's everybody doing? I would want to assimilate. So on one hand, that's good. On the other hand, I don't know. There is the benefit to other cultures. Like in the Bay, it's way too fucking far. There's a homogenous pressure, especially socially. Like I always talk about the difference between New York and the Bay Area. The Bay Area, sure, you have a lot of Indian people and Chinese people, but everybody gets to the point so assimilated that everyone's wearing the same fucking iTunes earbuds. They're all listening to the same music, watching the same Netflix shit. It's not separate cultures living together. It's one creepy, pressured, stupid culture. Whereas in New York, there's legit black people, there's legit Jews, and legit.
That's new,
You
though.
you understand what I?
Yeah.
That's new to San Francisco, though.
I think you're right. Like 20 years ago, maybe, probably.
Here, you can go into the city. You know where the Italians live. You know where the Russians live. You know where the Mexicans live.
Right.
You know where the blacks live. It's very segregated.
Right.
20 years ago,
which is a bad thing, but at the same time, at least they held on to their culture that way.
It wasn't a bad thing. It was one of those things where people lived with their own. They didn't cast anyone out.
And nothing's wrong with that, though. But we were talking about completely different immigration
so
now.
Everyone that's moving in wants to move in this neighborhood, and this has all the food that we like. You know, if I'm Russian, I want to live in this neighborhood because they have this, and this. You know?
Right.
I mean, you go to New York, go to Astoria. Iranians and Middle Easterns and their hookahs. I mean, they're not casting anyone out, in my opinion. But they've taken over a little place, and it's a magnet for that culture.
Totally.
And it just gets stronger and stronger.
Right.
And some people look at it as bad, and I look at it as it's people wanting to be with their own, and they build community.
But on the New Orleans angle, so my experience, my first time in New Orleans, I was on a road trip back from Florida in 2004, and
Pre-Katrina?
We met some friends at this conference thing, and he said, "Yeah, you can stay with us." So we're calling him or texting him beforehand on the way, and he's like, "Hey, okay, so it's in the middle of the night, or like maybe like 10, 11 or something like that," and he's like, "Okay, pull up." But by the way, as you're pulling up, check your rearview mirror and your side mirrors, because if you see someone walking up, just keep driving. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh shit! Okay, I haven't experienced this before. There was no pavement on the door or on the road, and he said he didn't even have a key to open his door. You had to like have a separate way. Like only he was knowledgeable about how to open his own fucking door.
Wow,
you know what I mean? So like he lived in a dangerous hood, right? Mm-hmm. So, but like. As far as segregation goes, yeah, there's one angle where, like, if I move to fucking Germany, where are the Americans? Where are the English people? Oh, okay, we speak the same language. Now I can assimilate, easy. But do you feel like, and maybe it's both, do you feel like there's segregation as far as the blacks in the certain wards, top down or bottom up? Do you understand what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. And pre-Katrina was, in my opinion, very different. Things were much more segregated.
Okay.
And then after Katrina happened, because of a lack of homes, because of what got destroyed in the city, we didn't have any choice but to things. It completely changed geographically the whole city.
Yeah, right. Half the city moved away.
Yeah, half the city moved away.
Really, right.
And then a lot of the black people from the east and the different wards, they came, to Jefferson Parish, to Metairie, whatnot.
Houston.
And it just the demographics has completely changed.
Okay.
When we were
populations,
we were
changed.
kids.
They're lucky if they're at half a
But
million.
I want to touch back real quick what y'all are talking about, because I get in this conversation a lot when it comes with immigration, and people always say, especially the liberals, that this country was founded on immigrants and all this other shit. Absolutely, you damn right. We all come from immigrants, whether it be Germans, Italians, Jews, Irish, whatever.
Right.
But the big difference between back then, and I'm talking our grandparents and our great-grandparents' generation, was those people came over here. They did not expect to get fucking handouts. They wanted to assimilate. I have no problem with people wanting to keep their culture when they come to this. That's what makes this country great, is different cultures,
Right.
But they strived to learn English, to obey our laws. Nowadays, it's a complete fucking opposite. Look at Europe right now. Europe is fucked. Germany, they're fucked.
Muslims.
France is
Muslim
fucked.
cultures coming into this.
Muslim cultures, they fucking leech on fucking society. That's all they do.
And worse than that, it's and this is because, and I have spoken to people about this. The Muslim culture / religion is all about spreading it. It's not about assimilating at all. It's about by force, by pressure, by whatever. It's about spreading the message of Allah, and that's the difference. So and it's happening now in a good way. You were talking about wanting to assimilate. You know who's really fucking great about wanting to assimilate? Indians. Mm-hmm. They love American culture. They want to come, or English culture. They want to come and assimilate. And that's why who's that? The CEO of Google now is oh wait, you want me to be offended about something? Yeah, sure, okay. I'll jump in if that's the assimilation that I need to do. Yeah. He's not doing it from a But Indians are really good with that.
You got the problem, and this really does piss me off at work. We got one guy that literally has been here in the fucking United States for more than 30 fucking years and refuses to learn English.
Yeah.
I can't tell him what to fucking do at work because guess what? He doesn't understand English.
I'd bring that motherfucker right to INS. That's what I'd do. I'd bag him and gag him and take him straight to INS.
Like, it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, you're getting the benefit of being here and all of the freedoms that we have. And apparently, it's still better than where you came from.
Well, of course.
And you can't follow. Dude, our handbook says you have to speak in English. Like, you.
Right.
That's it. We let him get away with it. Yeah. And, like, that just fucking pisses me off. It's like, dude, like, I'm not coming to your place and making you speak my fucking language.
Right.
You're coming here. We're giving you the opportunity to have a fantastic life, which he does.
Right.
And he has a family, and he's a great, hardworking guy. But it's a little fucking arrogant and kind of like spitting in your face.
But on the other side, you also have that one guy you talked about on the previous episode who's a Mexican guy, came up here.
Loves that American flag. I was actually telling him about him, and he actually got to go with me this morning and meet a bunch of the guys, and it was great. And it's just, it's perspective. It's two people from the same place that have two different perspectives. You look, one's on the top looking down and sees a 9, and one's at the bottom looking up seeing a 6.
Right.
And it's just totally different,
And this is part of why like I was saying before, why I started the podcast is because the difference between that one guy and the other guy at your work, as an example, is either good family, like good fucking parents, and or a culture that supports whatever, like the good principles that have been passed down. You know what I mean? Like, as an example, a family may come here from Mexico or from Germany or whatever, and they teach their kids, hey, be grateful where the fuck you are, because here's this story from this bullshit, or here's another story, here's this person that we both know that's going through whatever back home. Here, be grateful for what you know, learn about this, learn about that, learn English, and pass that culture down. And as far as I know, maybe you're not on social media, but as far as social media, as far as the media, as far as politically, it's somehow it's become like no. I don't know how to exactly to say it, but like that's part of the reason why I started this culture, is kind of help that, is to like help, number one, the conversation, and number two, to be like, there are important principles that we need to kind of have.
I'm not a racist bigot because I believe this guy should assimilate.
Right. I'm
practical. And I have principles.
Well, today's culture, if you don't agree with, or if you disagree with anything in life, you're either a bigot, a racist, a homophobe, or whatnot.
I just don't like culture.
I would say I'm culturist. Yeah,
like,
I'm not racist.
I don't want to hang out with you.
And what's
literally, if this is what you do in life, go fuck yourself and get as far away from me as possible.
Right.
I live where I live because I like my culture. I like my community.
Right.
You're invited into my community, but if you act like a fucking asshole.
Right.
You cause problems. You don't fucking have accountability. You don't know what responsibility is, and you don't give to the community. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, unfortunately, half of the country just is going to label you now as a bigot or a racist or whatnot.
And I wouldn't even say half. I wouldn't even say half. I think this is both the problem with the left and the right, is that they overestimate the liberals. Both the liberals do that, and the Democrat and the conservatives do that. I don't think it's that big an issue, because just outside of San Francisco, or just outside of the Bay, even down to Salinas, you know what I mean. You'll see, lots of Catholic Mexicans running around. Like you'll see, there's a lot of
Catholic Mexicans that voted for Trump.
Absolutely.
And
just outside of New York, and even inside of New York. So it's really L.A., San Francisco, probably Chicago. Northwest, a little bit of
Boston.
Chicago, and some of the Northeast.
You know
but
what it
like
is?
outside of that, there's a lot more motherfuckers who are
I be-
moderate and who are
I believe-
understanding
I've always said-
or lean right than we think.
I've always said that for years. You know, the conservatives, I've truly believed that we are the silent majority. We're just not the ones out in the street screaming at the fucking sky, crying about fucking Mueller reports and all this other bullshit.
What's
you know?
worse than seeing a little fucking entitled rich white kid complain about fucking black problems? What the fuck? Like, he's got a voice. He's not complaining. You're complaining about something that he's not even complaining about because you feel bad, because you literally, in your mind and in your actions, think you're better than him and you're the only one that can help him.
Right.
Instead of fucking teaching him how to fucking stand up. Michael Brown's mother.
Oh, jeez.
You talk about the whole Michael Brown thing, completely against it. That
What do
kid,
you mean? What do you mean?
The kid that got shot or whatever.
Michael Brown
And
got
let's,
shot.
let's not say he's a kid because he was fucking 18, 6'4", and 230 pounds. So
Okay, so he was one of the.
kid.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's one I haven't
he's
researched
the one,
yet.
Flint, Michigan, all the fucking riots and protests
Right.
and all that bullshit
Right,
happened,
right.
right? I don't agree with it. Kid did some bad shit, bad circumstances. Boom, he got popped by the cops. They got off. The cops got off.
Right.
Rightfully so, and they're upset. And now his mother is running for city council.
She lost.
But I adore and love that. That's what our country is. You want to protest? Fucking do something about it. Go about it the right way. Don't go fucking burn down your neighborhood. Go fucking knock on some doors. Try and get some people to support
Right.
you. And if your
Right.
community wants you in office and wants you to change something, they'll
Right.
fucking vote for your ass.
Right.
That's how you protest. I love that. I don't like what she stands for, but I love the fact that she got out there and did it the way that you should do it.
Right, and on that same angle, as far as
I'll support her
As far as-
100%. I don't agree with her politics, but I'll support her running for office.
And as far as Big White Daddy knows best, that's what George Carlin always talked about. Big White Daddy knows best. That's the same thing. The racism of the liberals is the same thing. A few months ago, there was a couple of sisters, a couple of black sisters on BART, the subway, and a white guy, crazy motherfucker, stabbed them. Right? He didn't even say a fucking word to them before he stabbed them. He just goes up, cuts her in the neck, stabs her sister, and runs off. He wasn't wearing a fucking MAGA hat. He wasn't saying go Trump. He wasn't saying fuck blacks. He wasn't saying any of that shit. He stabbed them and leave. Everybody. I'm talking Alyssa Milano type of motherfuckers. I'm talking about Twitter, media. Everyone's white man stabs and kills black. That's what you saw. White bad, black good. And her black parents were like, hey, don't take this racial. The Mexican police sergeant was like, hey, we don't know if it's racial, but everyone in the media, Big White Daddy, was like, no, it's racial. Black good, white bad, And it's just like, don't speak for motherfuckers who have a voice, like you were saying. It's that same thing. It's like, if we really want equality, black people are very powerful, but it also comes down to two. Here's the thing, and I talk about this all the fucking time. Like, they're 14% of the population of America. Like, do we really want? Like, do we have to keep going? No. There needs to be more black voices. Like, really? You have like 15 fucking %. Like, that's it. Like, I'm not saying we need to shorten it, but I'm saying you want it to 75. You know, Oscar's so white and shit.
You really want it equal? Okay, you got 100 dudes in a college. You only get 14 blacks.
Right.
Like, you want real, legitimate mathematical.
And that's what's
equality.
happened with the Asians in Harvard. That's why
like-
they don't want more Asians in Harvard, because they're like, oh shit, like they're
Like,
blowing
are
up.
we going merit based or are we going equal? Like, just
Right.
You know, so I'm sitting at. I got to bring this up, and this just okay. So we got some family in the Bay Area, Oakland, teachers, and he's liberal, right? He's not an extreme liberal. He's moderate, and he knows what's up. And we were at the game yesterday, and we were talking, and he happened to start talking about my wife, and mentions how she's a strong woman, blah 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 blah. And he mentions something about the problem with these feminists these days. And my eyes open up and I'm like, what the fuck's he about to say? Because there's no way he thinks the same thing I think.
Because he's liberal.
He totally thinks exactly what I think.
Dun, da, da.
And he's like,
Patreon.com/conservative.
completely and
Support
utterly
this fucking podcast.
bullshit. Women are not oppressed.
Right.
My daughter, we just start talking about it, and he's like, you want a fucking tech job? You fucking go to school, you bust your ass, you make your merit, you'll get the fucking tech job.
Right.
If you don't, fantastic. But don't complain saying that you don't have the opportunity when the opportunity is there. He's like, I see it. He's a high school teacher, a retired high school teacher. And we were just talking about my wife and all the other women that I know personally. And I'm like, yeah, dude, most of the women I know personally all have taken opportunity, ran with it, and make more money than their husbands.
Right. And they've done it in the way that interests them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
They're not wearing pussy hats running around saying that no one gave me a chance, blah, blah, blah. And they just did what they like and made it successful.
Right. I have a close family member who was a CEO of a company in the San Jose area. And the stories that I hear of him growing up, 16, 17 years old, working fucking 16 to 20 hours a day, cutting his teeth, hitting his head against the wall. That's how he got up to CEO. And not all the time. There are sometimes, paternalism and all that shit. But, like, you have to work really hard. It's not just, I want opportunity, gimme. You have to give me because I have a vagina. You have to put me in. Like, no, you have to work fucking hard. You have to be shit on. You have to be a shark. You have to deal with competition. You have to deal with...
And then...
sacrificing in order to be a part of whatever. That's what I'm doing with this fucking. I'm driving down all over the Bay Area to do a podcast recording. I'm playing over here. I'm putting up. I'm costing thousands of dollars to record this album and to do this because I want to sacrifice because I love to do it and because I know I have to put in work. I have to work harder than another musician. I have to work harder than another podcaster.
Exactly.
I have to work harder.
And then you got the women. Talking with Allie the other day, I listened to that episode and it was fantastic, and we ended up having a conversation and we ended up going to a comedy show, and that different thing of she was talking about how she doesn't like looking feminine,
right?
Because she's worried she doesn't like how people look at her when she's got tight pants on, and
whatever happened to the days when that used to be a fucking compliment.
Right.
When you would look at a woman,
it still
and be like, wow,
is.
she was beautiful.
It still is.
And
this is the thing. Like, she's gotten negative experiences.
Right.
She's beautiful. Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. She's a pretty girl. But the way she looks at it is people think that she may have gotten her position
because she was out giving blowjobs or something.
Because she looks the way she looks. And we started talking about it, and I'm like, no. See, you have those girls in life that bust their ass and get to where they go because they have talent and they happen to look good, look great, look beautiful. We know who they are. But then you have those girls that are absolutely beautiful and they got to where they got because of what they look like.
So you're describing about half of Hollywood.
Exactly. And we went to the comedy show. And this is the first. I go to a ton of comedy shows. Pete, you know that. I mean, I went.
Was it My Sweet Bobby Lee?
It was. It was.
I
love
love
the
My Sweet
opener
Bobby
for
Lee.
Sweet Bobby Lee. I've never seen somebody at a paid show like that bomb so hard. This chick was fucking atrocious. And guess what we found out by the end of her set?
What?
Her husband was the feature.
Okay. All right. Now,
so
okay.
She has opportunity.
Yes.
And she's going, granted, she's pretty beautiful too. But she got that position to open up because of the way she looks and who she's fucking.
You know,
but here's the thing, though. As far as comedy go, everybody bombs. The best in
agree,
the world, Seinfeld fucking bombs.
And she had,
Louis C.K. bombs.
3 or 4 out of the 20 minutes that were good. She has potential. But Allie and I looked at each other and said, that's the girl we were talking about.
Right.
But that's not bad. She used her assets to get where she needed to go.
But you feel like just be honest about it.
Exactly.
Let me ask you a question. Was she white?
Yes.
Well, you know what that's called, my friend? White privilege. That's the whole reason why. It's not because she was beautiful. She's got that white privilege.
I hate hearing
WP, baby.
I hate hearing that in a southern accent. It's that white privilege.
I fucking hate that. I get in conversations all the
He's
time.
got that WP,
I would say more or less arguments about the fucking whole white privilege shit.
Right.
It fucking chafes my ass in the worst way because so many people have worked their dicks off.
Right.
To get, we all have in this room have worked hard and we're still trying to work hard to get a better life for ourselves and our family. No one's giving me shit. So this whole concept of fucking white privilege.
You've probably been giving herpes with a clap or something.
Hey. So I just throw it out there.
Was it free though?
Anything.
If you got it from a prostitute, that's bad news. But if you got it,
well, yeah. I mean, some of the women in the military are pretty much might as well be prostitutes. So, not all, just some of them.
We love you girls.
Yeah, but
Man, who doesn't love a good slut?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was obviously everyone knows I was joking about the white privilege shit with that female comic.
That's the thing as far as blacks too. Like you were talking about culture and the differences and where you come from, blah blah blah. I noticed with black people in New Orleans, it was the same join or fuck off mentality. Mm-hmm. Even though whether it be white or black, it was the same. Like, you're either jumping in or you're not, and that's something that Bay Area people don't realize as far as the South go, or as far as New Orleans, or as far as wherever, is that they have this assumption that whites and black, and obviously there's white and black, fights and socially and class differences and whatever.
No, because we just hung out in different places. We did not mix. For the most part, we did have friends that were black or white, but was
it intentional? A little bit.
It's where we grew up.
I'll be honest with you. If you want my honest take with it, in the family that I come from, and all my friends, and the way we were raised, it was one of those scenarios where it's just you don't fuck with them, they don't fuck with you.
Right.
Like we have, we just stuck to our own, and I don't see anything wrong with that. We have different cultures,
right?
And that's not saying anything bad about black or white people or anything like that. It's just, I think it, it wasn't segregation. It was just, we chose to hang out with our people, and then they hung out with theirs.
Right.
We didn't mix in the same. We did not mix in the same bars. We did not mix in the same.
It's like
clubs.
living here.
It was like the tracks. No shit. It's like you don't cross those tracks. You don't. There
living
might be a
here in
problem,
California.
Right.
Go show me where the blacks are in the 5 high schools in my area.
Right, exactly.
It's very segregated. I can find lots of Mexican origin. I can find all types of whites. I mean, I don't really see where we live down here. I don't see very many Indian. I see lots of, South Americans, Mexicans, and whites. I mean, everything else is literally sprinkled.
And it makes sense. I'm going to kill you. But it makes sense that it would be segregated, like I was saying, and it starts way, 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 way back. And it continues for sometimes good reasons or bad or whatever. But it starts way, way back. If I move to fucking Germany, I'm going to find the other American speakers. I'm going to hang on for dear life. And same thing goes when a Mexican or
but people don't.
Or an Indian comes here, they want to know exactly. But they want to know, like, okay, I want. Even though I'm assimilating, I want the food I'm used to. I want the language I'm used to. I want the culture. I want Bollywood near me and a part of my life. Where's the Indian people? Okay, I'll hang out with them. Or they get into the country by other Indian cousins or fathers of family members or friends of the family or whatever who help them along. Okay, you can come to America if you get the visa, blah, blah, blah. You can come to America and I'll give you a job and I'll get you a car and I'll get you a this. So, like, there's a reason why cultures kind of stick together. And I think to your point, it makes sense. And I don't think it's so much of a race thing as it is a culture.
No, absolutely. And I agree.
Culture.
And I agree with that. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with growing up in an Italian household and
hanging out with a bunch of Italians?
Hanging out with Italians. As long as you're not, as long as you're still fucking speaking English and following these countries' laws, I don't give a fuck what you do, who you hang out with. Right. Like you said, Asian, I don't give a fuck if you're speaking Japanese, black, white, Hispanic, whatever. But if you come to this country, respect our laws, learn English, don't be a fucking leech off the government. I mean, you watch and see what's going to happen with France and Germany 20 years from now.
Yeah, they're
getting breeded out. They are fucked. Every day they are losing more and more of their culture. You could thank that stupid bitch Merkel for all that shit.
Yeah.
You know, she really fucked them good.
When was the last time we had a fucking acid attack in America?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, Jesus, we could talk about that fucking bum Smollett or whatever the fuck that that douchebag from Chicago. You know, every single morning,
Juicy Smollett.
every single morning on my drive
Smollett.
to work, I listen to the most liberal radio station I can.
Why?
James Madison. Why?
Right.
Because I truly try to understand how the left thinks, and I do it for educational purposes. It's not because I'm trying to make fun of them by any means, but I try to listen because I try to, educate myself. And every fucking day, I mean, it could be 1 a.m, it could be 5 p.m, it could be 10 p.m. I turn it on. It is always fucking racial. It is always something about how the white man did this, how the white man did that.
Right.
It's never positive. And they were talking about that. How do you say his name? Smollett or
Whatever.
Smollett.
The fucking douchebag who lied about getting beat up by white guys with MAGA hats.
Right.
And they were saying how obviously the ladies who were speaking were black, and the prosecutor, Chicago DA, was black as well. And they were saying that they just need to go ahead and let it go, and it wasn't that big of a deal, this, that, and the other. But if that would have been a white dude, he would have been fucked. He would have gotten 30 fucking years in whatever prisons in fucking Chicago.
It's the whole thing with the fucking rape shit too. When the women cry wolf, your girl that did it to the Duke lacrosse team and everything like that, like it's just as bad as rape. It's just as bad as a hate crime.
They had the lacrosse players, right? You're talking about,
I mean, to let them off and say, "Oh no, you're okay," like it's just bullshit.
But not even.
Man.
It's actually still. You could still get away with saying something about a lacrosse, and like it's still a part of the nomenclature, the culture, to have the idea that they actually did the raping when they didn't. You know what I mean? Like that's how strong they went, and how weak they went on going back on their word. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing with. I don't think it's just a racial thing. I think it's the problem with the left, and all humans are fucking guilty of this, but it's especially the left currently, is that the principles don't mean anything because it depends on the, and I talk about this, but like if you put the personality above the principle, you don't care about the principle. As an example, Joe Biden. Now, I don't think it's a good idea to go back through someone's life. I'm not saying, let's get Joe Biden. I don't like the motherfucker's personality and his vote and his politics, right? That's number one. Just get that out of the way. I don't think we should go back through. I think they fucking murdered Louis C.K. for no fucking reason.
But anyway,
atrocious. So like as an example, they went after. They want to go after Trump for that. They want to go after Weinstein. They want to go after Louis. They want to go after blah, blah, blah.
Shit that happened 30 years ago.
But then when it comes to Joe Biden, all of a sudden it's, but he learned his lesson.
Yeah.
He's fine now, because the principle, they don't actually give a fuck
He's
about
like the
principle.
definition of what women don't want. Like,
and there's
that creepy
thousands of
old
video.
guy
There's
that just
video. That's not even.
you
That's the
and
thing.
kisses you
Right. That's
and
the
fucking-
thing. I mean, Kavanaugh. They wanted to murder that motherfucker because of someone's word.
No
and
proof.
Joe Biden's just nasty fucking cupping 13-year-old titties on video, and you all want to go, he didn't take his word for it. He's a
just creepy Uncle Joe.
They were on The View the other day. Dumb cackling hens were all like, well, I wonder if this is politically motivated that they're going after Joe Biden for that. It's like, how fucking again. Maybe it is, but again,
It's 100%
you don't
politically
care.
motivated.
You don't care about the principle because the personality has shifted. Now, that's our guy, or he stands for our stuff. So now we're not gonna use that exact same rule, that slide rule for you know what I mean?
You know how pathetic the left is? They're going to shoot themselves in the foot again, and they're going to lose to Trump.
Yeah,
because they have no principles.
I just wish there are people who listen to this podcast, and I hear them all the time, who send me messages or comment on Instagram or comment, whatever, who support and love this podcast, but they disagree with some of the things I think, and they're liberals, but they're not vocal about saying, "Hey, you're on my side, douchebags. calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's difficult. And I had a fucking teacher, a great rapper named Gradient, who's a teacher, and he came on the show, and he's a liberal, and he's talking about how hard it is and how daunting it is, him learning how to be a teacher and realizing he's going to have conversations in the classroom, which might get him fucking fired.
And that's sad because, we do have free speech, and teachers in a classroom, in my opinion, is a form of learning. So you should have no issues speaking, about from either side, left, right, but you're right. Teachers are getting fired. More than often than not, it's because they're fucking bashing Trump and they're banning certain shit or whatnot, telling kids to take off their fucking MAGA hats or whatever. But
did you see?
But I promise you now, if that was a fucking kid walking in the classroom with Obama shirt, not a fucking word would have been said.
Exactly.
Or with a Black Lives Matter
or with
shirt.
a black,
or even a post, the errant, disgusting shit, the racist shit that I see on Facebook from the liberals. As an example, I was talking about this, but this friend of mine, Jem of a guy. He's a gay Filipino dude. I love this fucking dude in real life. But on Facebook, he shared something, and he's always talking about how evil white, blah, blah, blah. But he shared something about, I scroll through my timeline and I say to myself, mediocre, person of color, mediocre, person of color. And like, that's disgusting. That's fucking racist. And if you did that, if a white guy did that, I even get shadow banned. I get fucking shadow banned just for going hashtag Proud Boys. These motherfuckers, like, they are so they don't give a fuck about the person or the principle. You know what I mean? They have no fucking principles. They just want to win. They just want to have power. They just want to hurt the bully, the white bully who hurt them in school.
Not bullying them.
You know what I mean? Like, they want to subconsciously go back to that high school kid who was into the military and screw that guy, so screw the military. Like, they're just childish cunts, dude.
And I can tell you that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy, in the military. I've been in for quite a few years now, almost 16, and I've heard certain people say throughout the years on our radio stations that there's white supremacists in the military and all this, and there's racial tensions. Let me tell you, I have fucking worked my dear friend, I consider him my mentor, and he knows I love this man more than anything, and I'd die for him, and he's black as night,
right?
And I truly do love that man, and I have a lot of black friends that are in the military. And let me tell you, we've always gotten along. We have not, in the years that I've been in, I have never seen one racist act. Now, we clown on each other. Right. They might call me, hey, white boy, crack, or whatever, and I'll go right back, and we fuck with each other because it's a brotherhood,
Right.
And we love each other. And guess what? At the end of the day, we're still sleeping in the shitty-ass tent, in the shitty-ass location called Iraq or Afghanistan, eating the shitty-ass food, crying together, fucking laughing together, making the best of it. But that shit just doesn't happen in the military. And most of the time, we don't even talk about politics because we don't have a voice in it, because we can't talk about that shit. Right. You have to support your president. As an active duty military member, if I didn't like Obama, I couldn't just stand up there and say, fuck Obama. He's the commander in chief. We don't have that right.
We're serving him.
We're serving him. He's our boss, Right. And the same thing with Trump, So we don't have that issue in the military. And the few people that do say they do, they're fucking idiots, because it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it does not ever happen, because I'm sure there are cases of on both sides,
It's all the people that have a bountiful harvest, that have more than enough than they need. They want to fucking look out at who's getting hurt, and they want to stand up for them, and they've never been in a situation, and they only have hearsay, and they think this is what goes on because it's a narrative that's been fed to them, and you're like, what the fuck? Where's this coming from? Like, I don't see this. Like, I mean, when I moved here, I was very closed-minded, definitely prejudiced, but I still, there was this woman that worked for me that I adored. She was from slums in Oakland. She worked for me. She'd invite me over. She lives in the back of this house. As quintessential as it gets, she'd literally fry me chicken.
Right.
And I'd go over there, and dude, she wanted to make sure that she made me enough food that I could bring it home for everybody to eat. Mm-hmm. And she literally drank Mickey's Old English. I mean, it's like I'm watching Don't Drink Your Juice in the Middle of the Hood or whatever. And dude, she was as stereotypical as you get, and her and I were so close and so tight. She didn't listen to everybody in the company, but if I went to her, she listened to me,
Right.
and I could get her to do anything I needed. You know, I hired her son. Like, rest in peace. She unfortunately passed, but it's just like I still didn't see color. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to accept you for who you are.
Right.
If I don't like you, it's most likely a personal thing. Like, I don't literally like you.
Right.
It has nothing to do with your color of
Right,
your
and
skin. Like, it has to do with like how you treat me, how we interact, what you do, how you
Right.
work for me. Like, again, if you're a douchebag, I'm going to call you a douchebag. It really doesn't matter what color of skin you have.
And I think it's a little racism's fine. Like, I don't think it's a big deal for me to be driving down the road. Again, I did have someone in front of me, what was it, yesterday, going really slow in the left lane, and it was a white guy. So congratulations, white guys. You got on the board.
Fucking
but
kike.
most of the time, I was... Did you say kike? I think the guy did. He did look a little fucking Jewish. But I got ahead again today. Nice. I'm sure she's a wonderful cook, a good mother, but get the fuck out of the left fucking lane when I'm driving. Same thing goes where it's like, I think it's okay for me to be a little racist. Like, it's not that big a fucking deal just to me to judge you, or as Patrice O'Neill said, racial.
And let's
like, there's a difference between racist and racial.
And let's get real here. The media and everybody portrays that white people are the only one racist.
Bullshit.
Let me tell you something. Where me and my friend across from right on that sofa over there where we're from,
Right.
those motherfuckers do not like us.
No.
I could tell you that right now. And that's fucking anywhere you go. I don't give a fuck. I'm new to California,
Right.
but I don't give a fuck if you're from Jersey, New York, fucking New Orleans, fucking wherever, Baltimore. Everyone's got that type of shit in them.
Right.
Everybody. I'm not saying it's right, but culturally,
But that's why we set up the culture and society in order to get rid or to... So you can't fuck with the animal that we are. I think that's nature for us to want to stick with our own, like, just naturally, and also to judge those that are not like us.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But that's why we have a society, both laws and culture, that, okay, let's all at least live together. When you go to your home, listen to K-a-la radio or whatever, and cook your weird food and whatever, and that's fine. But, like, when we all come to the store, we all do this same thing, and we stand in the line, and we pay the same amount, the same type of money, and then we, blah, blah, blah. We try to do the best we can, but it's okay to be a little prejudiced and hang out with your kind. And when it comes to the racism of other cultures, let's be fucking real. There are a lot of American black people who judge the shit out of Africans.
oh, absolutely.
Talk about fucking, like, Patrice O'Neill made this hilarious talk about, like, he was at this show, and some motherfucker was like, hey, what's your name, kid? And this black guy was like, Tolu. And like Patrice started laughing. Tolu? Your name is Tolu? What in the fuck? Just ragging on him for being African. He's like, you black kids in high school, they had to make fun of you. So it's like everybody's making fun of you. Everybody gets a bullet. Everybody, has to pay that. It's all good. Like, I want genuine fucking equality. Now, in some instances, sure, help somebody get on the road, get on the beam. But as soon as, like, generation 2, enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As soon as now you have 2 generations or 3 generations on welfare, fuck
Well, that's
you.
the problem with our fucking society. We have literally created, the government will not take their fucking tit out of these fucking people's mouths. And I'm talking about all people, all colors,
Right.
We have, it's a generational thing of people being on welfare, living in the fucking projects. And let me be clear, it is not just a fucking
Or
black
trailer.
Hispanic
No,
thing.
there are more
It is
whites
fucking-
on welfare
exactly.
than there are blacks.
So this is across the board. I understand why those programs were created.
Yeah.
But it is morphed into a fucking monster.
Right.
That and why the fuck would these people want to go
Well,
to
you
work
listen to
when they're fucking
Shapiro.
making more, having fucking kids and fucking getting welfare checks than fucking working?
And when mom showed me that it's okay, and dad showed me
Oh,
that
it's a generational thing.
And my family has showed me that it's okay. The church has showed me that it's okay. And society is telling me I'm still a victim. I'm still a victim.
Yeah.
Yay. Why would you want to do anything different? I know myself. I've been a fucking taker in my life. I've been a fucking mooch. I've been a kid. I've been immature. Why would I do anything different if people are telling me, "Oh, poor Pete"? Of course I'm going to fucking cash in on that.
Did you listen to Shapiro and Rogan by any chance?
Yeah.
when he was talking about how as long as you don't have a child out of wedlock, he was going over the statistics.
Much higher percentage. You're going to be all right.
But yet we create a system where you get more money if you have more children.
Right.
So the person that's on welfare will have a second child,
right,
and a third child, and a fourth child, and a fifth child. This is literally this is happening.
Right.
And then we're bad because.
But I don't even
think
that I don't think that the females, those mothers, if you can call them that, those receptacles for children, can I don't think they have the intention specifically to get more money. I just think if
I don't know about that.
Maybe sometimes
some,
but I don't think again, I'm not saying that their intention is I just love making life. No, I'm saying like I just think it's a culture thing. Well, my mom did it and my dad says it's okay.
Well, you're
and
literally
everybody in my
more
life
money.
says it's okay. Right, but I don't think it's like maybe a little bit. But also there's to that point, Bobby Kelly talks about being a foster kid and how some foster parents, he's like, some foster parents do it because they love kids, and some of them do it for the check. And he was talking about every day he ate mac and cheese and peanut butter and jelly, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like he ate bare bones, and they got money. You know what I mean? Like there's workarounds for shit. So I'm sometimes I'm sure that is for money, but
you know, to change topic just on a second, because you brought it up. You talking about adoption and foster parents and everything. Right. You know one thing that really fucking irks me is the fact I see all these fucking celebrities and even people I know, who go and adopt fucking kids from other fucking countries. What the fuck is up with that when we have all these other kids, Americans, American children who we should be, that should be a fucking law,
it's
to be honest
man.
with you.
If you want to show everybody that they're good people,
if you want to adopt a kid, you're not
they have
adopting
virtues,
I don't give a fuck.
And they're trying to save the fucking
if
world.
If they want to fucking, it should be a law to where if you want to adopt a kid, that's fucking awesome. But guess what? You're not adopting shit until every other fucking kid in this country is taken care of and adopted. Then you go to fucking India or fucking Pakistan or wherever the fuck you want.
But black good, white bad. That's really what it is. That's their mentality.
Oh, absolutely. Like, look at Angelina
America
Jolie.
Bad, India good, America bad, Africa good. Duh, 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 duh. It's that same shit. And not just that. There are already laws, I believe, when you actually want to adopt a kid. You can adopt. You have to be online for a longer time if you want a baby versus be on a long. You can get Tina Fey and
that doesn't
30
apply
Rock.
to the common folk.
You can get
like
a 6-year-old yesterday. You know what I mean?
So, that's something
you can decide if you really just love kids, do it.
Yeah.
But like there are a bunch of other people in line who want the help. Don't want like.
So there's websites. So this is something that I'm actually looking into.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know the underbelly of that world until
there's an underbelly,
maybe 4 to 6 months ago.
Okay.
There's websites. You can literally go on websites, and it's marketplaces for children to be adopted. And it hit me, like I'm looking through it, and it hit me so hard in the gut, I just slammed the computer shut, and I'm like, this is gross. Like morally, I feel horrible because I'm looking at it, and on these webs, pictures, origins, mental health statuses.
Are you talking about in this country, or are you talking about
in this country?
Okay.
It's like we're adopting a fucking pet. What in the fuck are you doing?
And you know who's left over?
Of course,
disabled children,
right?
See,
mentally health children, and older children.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no babies on there, and if they are babies, they have health problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
And morally, it murders my soul because my true conscience came out, and I'm like, I don't know that I'm up to adopting an older disabled child.
Exactly. So,
but
that's the thing.
Really real. And if you would have asked me philosophically prior to ever looking at that website, like, yeah, it's a child. It needs love.
Right.
I want a child. I want to show love.
Right.
I could totally do it. Then when the decision comes to it, and you start thinking about your lifestyle and what I do and what I want, it grossed me out.
Yeah.
And we've been on a pause, and I'm in fear, and I've pushed it away. In time, it'll come back up. But yeah, it's real, dude. It's crazy to see what's out there and how many children need that love. and me growing up the way I grew up, and I am fucking willing to help anyone. You both know it. You've both seen it. And it's different.
But that's the thing, is that both it's gross and it, for a non-introspective person, they'd be fucked. For a non-introspective person, for someone who's looking inside themselves, it suddenly there's a mirror up to yourself and like look at the possibility that I may be more shallow than I think.
And see,
all of a sudden I'm more. And when you understand yourself better, that's why when I look inside myself and I'm introspective and I'm more mature, I'm not mature, but I'm more mature than I have been. And for people my age, I'm definitely more mature. But that's why I can understand that just black is good and white is bad. No. Human is human. And I'm a fucking human. And I know how gross I can be. I know how immature I can be. I've been a mooch before. So I understand that I just can't automatically assume good intentions. I can't automatically assume good actions because I understand myself.
Right.
That doesn't mean kill everyone. That doesn't mean everybody on welfare is a piece of shit. But I understand taking advantage in myself. I understand shallowness in myself, and therefore I can look at it maturely when it comes to other people possibly taking advantage of the system, possibly being shallow, possibly being hypocrites, because I'm one.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with you 100%. And it's funny that you brought that up about the situation you were in, and because I am. Until you're faced in that situation, you could say something all day. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in that. Right. But until you're faced with the situation, like for me, I'm strongly against abortion.
Right.
Except, in certain scenarios where a mother's going to die from the baby, or let's say a mother gets raped. I think the woman should have the choice to, abort that baby. That's my personal belief. But I've always been like that ever since I was a kid. A lot of that has to do with my upbringing or whatnot. Until the time where I got a girl pregnant.
Right.
And try to word this correctly. I was having another kid, and I got another girl pregnant. And
were you, if you don't mind me asking, were you in a committed relationship with the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a really tough time, and both kids were going to be born within 2 months of each other. It was a really shitty situation. Right. So I told the girl, and I thought about it. I thought about telling her and talking about it, like, hey, let's just, let's get an abortion, because I'm not going to be with you. That was already obvious. She knew that, and I couldn't believe in my mind I was thinking about that, and I was like, wow, I'm all these years I told myself
that you believe something,
that I believe in something, but I had never been faced.
Right.
I had never, that had never happened to me before. So then all of a sudden my morals starting, I started to question them.
Right.
And I remember waking up one day and I said, you know what? I said, I'm not even going to discuss it with her. So I remember calling her. I told her, I said, look, I can't be with you, but, I will support you. I'll help raise this child. I'll do financially, whatever. And I'll be a dad, Now I can't be with you, but I'll be a father. And that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But come to find out, she told me she got an abortion. I think she was fucking lying, to be honest with you.
Lying that she was pregnant?
Yeah, lying that she was pregnant. Yeah. Exactly. So,
okay.
But at the time I had no idea. And I still don't even have proof to this day that she didn't.
Right.
Because we haven't really talked since. But
how old were you at the time?
21, maybe 22.
So the benefit of that experience, as heart-wrenching or scary as that was you started to realize, oh shit, I actually do believe something. I am a little more manly. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
the benefit of that fucked up experience was you got to be more introspective and realize, oh shit, I am ready to do whatever I need to do.
You're right. It helped me grow up a lot, but at the same time, that was something I took that lesson, and I always talked with other people and told them about, certain people. Well, I always told people, I said, well, you know what, you say that you believe this and you're staunch against this, but wait until, I always use that scenario. I said, wait until one day you're faced with that problem.
Right.
Because it's easy to say it is super easy to tell people you're a piece of shit if you're on welfare, blah, 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 until you lose your fucking job and you have mouths to feed.
Right.
So it's difficult.
Have knee surgery and you have to go on disability.
Yeah, it's difficult. So until you're into that situation, I would be very careful to judge other people until
I was on food stamps for a little bit there, maybe '08. So I was 21 years old, and I was on food stamps for maybe 6 months to 9 months. Now I was 21, able-bodied, kind of had a job, and I was in a situation where, and again, I'm not saying this is patent for everybody or everybody who's on food stamps or whatever. I did need the help. I did what I looked inside myself. I was like, is this a good idea? And, you know, my mentors at the time were like, my helpers, my friends were like, sometimes you need help, get help. At the same time, looking back on it, I was in a relationship and I was 21. I was a lazy, dumb motherfucker, right? And I was in a relationship where I depended upon her financially. So I knew I didn't really need to. And she depended upon me emotionally.
Yeah.
She didn't want me to go to work because she was alone at home all day.
Yeah.
I didn't want to work. You know, I didn't realize at the time that it's bad for a man to take money from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's that I needed to have my balls in a way. I'm not saying all the time. I'm just saying.
Whoa.
Hang on. But like for me, I didn't know that at the time. For me. And my experience was I could have gotten a fucking real job, but I chose not to. And it wasn't malicious. It wasn't, you know, I believe I did the right thing at that time. But looking back on it, I was like, man, I could have just gotten out of that fucking relationship. You know, I wasn't supposed to be in that fucking relationship. You know what I mean? I was 21 fucking years old. She's 34. I'm dependent upon her financially. We're sucking on. If we went more than 2 days without screaming at each other, it was a fucking miracle, right?
Yeah.
So looking back on that, I'm like, I could have done better. So I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying that's a blanket statement for everybody. Everybody in welfare is taking advantage. But I know that for me, looking back on it, I didn't want to go wait in line for shitty government peanut butter. I didn't want to, you know, even going and shopping at that food stamps place was like, this feels gross. And I don't know why I feel gross, but this feels gross. You know what I mean? Mentally, internally. You know what I mean?
Well, nowadays, I think you go use food stamps fucking anywhere, right?
Yeah.
There's no, you can buy alcohol, whatever you want on them now.
Oh, really?
No, yeah.
You can't buy alcohol.
Bullshit.
You cannot.
Not in California, at
You
least.
cannot.
Well, that's about the only thing the state's doing right then.
Can we pause for a second so I could go piss?
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, let's pause for
Or,
a second.
you want us to keep going? We can.
Yeah, fuck it. Keep going. I am now officially leaving my
Don't
podcast in
worry.
the hands of some racists.
Some racist,
No,
huh?
not at all.
Jesus.
So what's the next topic
Jesus.
of conversation?
Niggers. No.
Fucking Mulian.
At some point, we're gonna have to
We need
talk.
to do some storytelling, dude.
Well, at some point, we need to talk about gun control out here. What the fuck is so? For those who
dude,
don't know,
you gotta let him get on the gun control. He thinks he likes guns.
so for those who don't know, and we'll wait till our host gets back, so we won't dive into it too much. But I just moved out here to California, so
Hard left turn.
yeah,
Hard left
you know. So this is a huge shocker for me. This state is absolutely beautiful. I'll tell you that. I've been to California one time, and that was a few years ago for some military training that I had. But now I'm currently living out here, and beautiful state. I'm not going to knock it, but the views out here, especially on gun control, is just fucking blows my mind. What do you think about that?
I can't have my guns here.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, and you know, you want to talk about real shit. You know, I literally had to move everything I owned to a relative's home, everything, because, you know, with the gun laws out here, you know, I only had one weapon that was even fucking legal.
Yeah.
You know, to take out here.
None of my handguns. My Kimber 45 subcompact, too large clip. Glock 17, too large a capacity. All my extended clip magazines, illegal. Like, little Mossberg Shockwave I want to get, illegal because of California standards. I can go home and get one.
Yeah.
And bring it back.
I
but if
seriously
get caught
live
with
like,
it-
I feel like I live in the Soviet Union sometimes.
You're not allowed to have those guns even if they're legal over there. They're not legal here. So you
Correct.
can't. Okay.
So like the Mossberg, so he brought up to me, I wanted to get this shotgun. It's gooseneck, right? Is that
Yeah,
the-
that's the name of the handle, yeah.
So it's a gooseneck short barrel shotgun. It's 18 inches, right?
God, I can't remember.
I think it's
man.
18.
So why is it?
Well, in
why
the state
is
of
it legal?
California, because it's so short.
It literally looks like a sawed-off shotgun, pretty much.
Okay.
You know.
It is.
Yeah. It puts you this way. It's such on the verge of being illegal. When you buy it, the ATF gives you the printout in the box of the paperwork.
Because it's not considered a shotgun.
Saying that it's legal.
It's not classified as a shotgun.
Right.
It's a great little weapon for home defense and just fun shooting, you know? Like it's movie style fucking shotgun, you know. Right. You hold it on your side. You don't hold it up to your shoulder. It's not a necessarily pistol grip. I'll pull up a picture of it. And something can't get here.
Well, you saw where the judge just ruled here in California that, you know, we are allowed to have now magazines over 10 rounds. Did you see that? He just passed
cool.
it. He said it was unconstitutional. So right now, every gun site that you look at, typically just up to 2 weeks ago or a week ago, you were not allowed to ship 30-round mags or really anything over 10-round mags here to California, you know.
Right.
But now everything's legal. Right. Now that changed with the magazine law, but that doesn't mean shit for, let's say, your AR-15s, your AK-47s. People say assault weapons. It's not assault weapons.
Again,
but
another narrative that's being
it's another fucking narrative
to the fucking
again,
public that has no clue about fucking guns, gun safety, or anything about them. So let me tell you,
and not
what
just
to
that,
fucking
a lot of black people
so
like guns.
Like they do.
I don't know why that's like a race issue now. Apparently,
it's a small faction of people that are trying to tell the greater masses what
big white daddy knows best. Big white trans big white trans knows best.
It's fucking retarded, man.
Yeah.
I can't
so
even
when
say
did
that
you?
word.
What was your first? I know. I actually said it this morning. I felt weird. Anyway, what was your first gun?
So I'll
Do
tell
you
you
remember
exactly
yours personally.
My personally. So well, I just want to give a backdrop
Dude,
on
you
how
gotta
I
tell
know
a
how I
story
grew
about
up.
MJ and the police.
Oh, well, okay.
Do you know
well,
how much editing I'm supposed to do now? God damn it.
Well, no,
I
he didn't
didn't-
tell
I
the
didn't say
name.
his
It's
name.
just the initials. So I'm just going to tell you a backdrop on how I grew up. You know, my dad is an avid Second Amendment rights person. You know, he was in the military or whatnot. So growing up as a kid, we didn't have a fucking gun safe. I had my own bedroom, right? And in my bedroom was 2 small closets. One closet was where I kept my clothes. The other closet, which had no lock on or anything, was every fucking gun he owned. You know, maybe 20 of them.
In your room.
In my room. As a kid, as a fucking boy. But let me tell you something. My dad instilled in me, still even to this day, and I mean, you're talking about somebody who's been in the military for a long time now, deal with weapons a lot. Weapons are my hobby. Guns are. It's a passion of mine. Some people like golf. Some people fucking, I don't know, fish. I like guns, you know?
Right.
So as a kid, I knew that if I ever fucked with those guns and my dad caught me, he would fucking beat my ass.
Right.
Now, he was smart. They were never loaded.
And he showed you from a young age how
From
to
a
load
young,
it,
how
how to
to
keep
young-
your goddamn
how to
safety on.
I'm talking from like 5, 6 years old, and I
Right.
passed the same thing on to my kids, you know.
Right.
But my first gun, my dad gave me. It was a 12 gauge shotgun. That was my first one, and I think I was. I want to say maybe 15
Did you go
years
hunting?
old. No, never a hunter. I'm not a hunter. I do enjoy fishing. I wouldn't really call fishing a hobby, but no, I've never been a hunter. I've just been in, I'm a gun guy. I just love guns. I like to shoot. It's almost like therapy for me.
How was
you
your
know?
shot at 15?
How was my shot at 15? Fuck, probably not pretty good. I can't.
There's
I'm not
nothing
gonna
more
lie.
fun than going to the range and just unloading.
And you know, people act like it's a bad thing, like guns are fucking evil. The last time I fucking checked, I could put a fully loaded fucking AR-15 on this fucking table, and guess what? It's not gonna fucking fire itself.
Right.
You know, and that's what really but now to be a gun owner comes with a fucking sense of responsibility and respect for that weapon. Obviously, if I have young children, I'm not going to leave a fucking loaded fucking handgun on a counter so my kids can get it.
Maybe
you know?
that's part of it. Maybe that's part of the idea of the anti-gun stuff. I mean, part of it, I think it from the liberal standpoint, is that maybe it's a part of like, I just care so much about dead kids. But also partially, there's something about, because we all fucking care about dead kids, you dumb cunts. But also, here's the thing. I think maybe a part of it is their drawback is that it does come with so much responsibility. And responsibility is the name of the game that they are against.
Yeah, they
don't like. I want someone else to wipe my butt. You know, I want someone else to pay for stuff. I want someone else to pay for college. I want someone else to go to work. I want someone else so I can focus on my poems. You know what I mean? Like it's that type of shit.
Well, you know what? All these anti-gun people, you know, and again, and I'm gonna just throw this all up into one, you know, conversation. But all these people who are anti-gun and fucking anti-death penalty. You know, I promise you, who's that fucking bum y'all have in San Francisco who's y'all's Gavin, Newsom?
Yeah.
You know? So
you
listen
mean
to
the
this shit.
governor of California now?
Whatever that fucking douchebag is. Sorry, guys. Like I mentioned earlier, I just moved here.
That's a soulless person.
So all these people who are anti-gun and because he just banned the death penalty and all this shit in California, I promise you, if that motherfucker saw his kid fucking getting ready to get raped or killed, that motherfucker would become a gun lover and fucking pro fucking death.
Ooh, I don't know about
instantly.
that. He's pretty soulless, man.
He's a well, you know what? You know who used
He's
to
a
be married
ghost.
to?
He's a ghost.
He's a ghost. He has no fucking soul, dude.
He's cheated on his girl.
He's
That's soul.
absolute and utter
Hang
fucking
on.
politician.
Well,
Cheating-
guess
cheating
what?
says
I'd
what
step
the fuck
in
he
his
needs to
spot
say.
for a day because you know who he used to be married to? Kimberly Guilfoyle on
Who that?
Fox.
Who?
Kimberly Guilfoyle or whatever. She used to be a prosecutor for fucking, or the DA for
Gavin
San
Newsom's
Francisco.
all about himself.
Is she a skinny blonde?
Himself.
No, she's a big-breasted
and-
fucking brunette. That bitch
Really?
is fucking gorgeous.
A non-blonde on Fox.
She could
That's
sit
very
on my
interesting.
face any day. I'm just saying.
You like a big, don't you?
Hey, no, she ain't that
The
bitch.
golf bitch that we saw the other day, or a second ago.
Man, let me pull up. I don't. Pull up fucking old Kimberly, man. She's fucking beautiful.
So, but okay, as far as him being soulless, I think a little animus. He cheated on his chick at some point. That's animus.
I think all
right?
dudes have done that at some point.
Yeah, that's
so.
not a. He's not a ghost. He's got a penis. That's a good sign. It's not. It wasn't probably a healthy thing to do, but it was a. It's a good sign.
Why are you procrastinating on that picture? Show my man.
Yeah, who's this Kimberly?
You don't watch Fox News?
No, I don't watch TV really.
Okay, well, hey. Yeah.
I mean, guns
I think I
are
see the only
supposedly bad.
TV
but
news I see is at the fucking gym.
yeah.
My guns never hurt me or anyone else.
Right.
I could tell you right now.
And I had
when
33 round
when I was
clips for
moving,
everything.
I think you were in the bathroom earlier, so I had to when I was coming out here, I had to move everything I owned, right? So I'm not exaggerating. I had to rent a fucking U-Haul,
Right.
right?
Kimberly
to move
Guilfoyle.
gun safes, ammo, guns, and everything. And the whole time I was praying. I actually kept a copy of my orders in my pocket to where if I got, I got pulled over by the cops, I mean, they would have They would have thought I was a fucking terrorist,
Well, and
That's an older picture of her. That's an older picture. No, fuck, show a newer picture.
Dude, I love a big-eyed bitch. Jesus Christ.
Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No, I want the first one.
She's a little bit older. I like older
Look at
girls too.
that little Anne Hathaway face.
Yo,
Dude, I love a good Anne Hathaway face.
Look at how much money changes.
Look at that
you.
fucking hair, though. She looks like the Predator. She looks like the Predator.
Before he was mayor and before he was governor of California. And then
looks
look
like-
what money does to you.
he
dude.
looks like Jake.
Look how different he looks.
Mike,
Like how much
Mike.
Botox.
He looks like Jake. Look at that old picture. He looks like Dum Dum Jake, dude. Holy shit.
Dude,
but look
Jake,
at her
you need to
Predator
get
hair
some
in that fucking picture.
Botox. You need to get some, some facial creams. Get a little skin
Wouldn't you, though?
lift.
Check
Wouldn't
out
you,
her
though?
tits. Go fucking find another picture, man.
But okay.
Wait a minute. Donald Trump Jr.'s dating her now?
Yeah, dude, you motherfuckers
Good
are
for
you're
him, dude.
fucking uninformed, man.
So here's a question.
okay.
Was it? You're anonymous
isn't
now.
that fantastic?
Were you allowed to? You were allowed to move those. Those
Absolutely.
across the border.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
all of them
There's-
were
yeah,
legal.
there was,
or they weren't?
okay.
absolutely.
Let me tell you something. There's there's two organizations that I will never fuck with in life. That is the ATF and the IRS. They will fuck you harder than anyone can be. But no, there's nothing illegal at all. If anything, I was being the response, because that's what most people don't fucking realize, and it drives me fucking nuts with this liberal media. 99% of fucking gun owners are law-abiding citizens.
Right.
We do not fucking break laws. We're good people. We go to work every day. It's ridiculous, this notion that, all these ARs and AKs and fucking all this other shit is scary weapons. No, they're just tools. Like a fucking hammer's a tool. You know how many, so they don't have gun, China, for example, they're huge. You're not even allowed to own guns out there. Very few people can. But guess what happens on a daily fucking basis? Stabbings.
Right.
They go out there that almost every other day you hear about some lunatic going into a kindergarten and stabbing 20 fucking kids. What's the movie? You're going to fucking ban all fucking knives? I know it sounds cliche because this argument has been brought up fucking all the time over the years, but no, there's fucking nothing illegal that I've done. I was being a responsible citizen knowing I can't bring my weapons that are fucking against the law in California, so I had to move them to a relative's home. Right. So I did the right thing.
Get the fuck over it. We're animals. People are going to die. Deal with it. Move on.
Right. Well, the other thing is that instead of dealing with the actual issue, they want to deal with the symptom. The actual issue is crazy. Mm-hmm. That's the actual issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's
mental health.
It's a scary thing because I know I have it in me to kill. I know a lot of people who have, you know what I mean? Like, give me really, no, I haven't killed, but I know I have it in me to kill. Like, give me a couple of months of drinking. There's all the fucking all the bets are off, dude. I feel very deeply. Let's just say I'm very sensitive, but like, and I know people who have killed, and I love them with all my heart. So I know that I have the capacity. So that's number one. Number two, when the chips are down and crazy is crazy, not just as a society, but on a personal level, you don't hang out with anyone who is fucking nuts. Mm-hmm. We can say it in a jest. Oh, that motherfucker's crazy. Or this guy's crazy. Oh, he drinks a lot. Or he goes to the strip club and fucking pays, thousands of dollars like an asshole or loses his mind or whatever. It's just a lap dance. Anyway, but like,
whoa, now, dude, what's wrong with the strippies?
I'm not saying there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with God bless you girls and God bless you men. But
I don't know about the men part. I'm all down for the girls though.
But the fucking anyway. But like, it's nice to say crazy. I want. Anyway,
he doesn't want to
listen,
wake up.
Listen, cocksucker. We'll get to you. Here's the thing. What I'm saying is, actual human insanity is the scariest.
Oh my God.
In the world. Human insanity is the most terrifying, and not just because it's uncontrollable, right? It's like a baby, but with violent, like capability of violence. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Human insanity is the scariest thing in the world. And we don't know interpersonally how to deal with it, nor as a society. We try a lot of stuff. We throw pills at it. We throw lockup. We throw mental institutions. That didn't work in some, and people were like getting raped and fucking, okay, let them all out. That's not fucking working. It's all, we're trying stuff to figure it out.
No one wants to get down to causes and conditions.
Right. We don't want to look at human insanity and look inside ourselves for the insanity. So we want to keep it away from us. Almost like it's contagious. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We don't want to deal with it, so we want to take the guns away. We want to take the knives away. In fucking London. Yeah. They took away all the guns and there were not stabbings. Mm-hmm. So now they just outlawed knives in fucking London. Are you out of your fucking mind? Yeah. Next, they're going to take away pepper spray and then we're going to take away fists. You dumb motherfuckers.
PTSD. We started talking about it last night. Got a buddy that's working on the MAP stuff, which is it's like hormone and what's the psilocybin. Trying to treat PTSD with chemicals in the brain and everything like that. And we started talking while we were having dinner on the balcony or whatever. And I don't know that a drug's going to cure any of that. Yeah. And you look at these spiritual programs that actually stare fear in the face and look at what the causes and conditions are and tackle it and run through the wall.
Right.
And you start to see guys, you know what? Yes, we have these thoughts deep buried in our mind that are controlling us. We need to look at the causes and conditions. Is it your buddy that got blown up in the fucking service that just keeps haunting you? Is it? Good. We're talking about it today. Get it out. Let's write about it. What do you fear? What's going on? Like, what is it in your belly, in your heart, in your soul that's captivating your mind and you're just completely controlled by outside circumstances because of it? Let's break down that fucking brick wall.
Right.
No more burying it. Talk about your feelings. And then all of a sudden you're starting to find out in these VA hospitals, these guys are actually doing that. They're using part of this spiritual program that we get to enjoy and use to grow. And they're starting to see growth, and they're starting to see they're healing from the inside out opposed to the outside in. and they're not having to take chemicals in. And this isn't across the board.
Right.
I'm not saying it's a catch-all and it'll fix everybody.
Sure, but a lot of it.
But it's being proven to work.
Right.
But
even more than that, I don't think it's. I don't even think it's. I don't even think it's. So it's not just that people are. It's not that the left is afraid of spiritual programs, or although they are. Actually, yeah, no, they are.
Yeah.
But like
they don't want to get down to the causes and conditions.
It's just more than that. They also want the power to be a nudge. They want to tell other people what to do because that feels good.
Yeah.
All of us have victimness, and all of us have bully. All of it. That's animal to have a bully inside your belly that sees someone struggling, just like whether it be on the playground or whether it be on Twitter. Someone's all piling on. I'm going to pile on, get in my shots, and now I feel good about myself. Yeah. Right?
And
it's the same thing.
And it correlates with everything, whether with these politicians in the left and everything, your Feinsteins, your Pelosi's, you know.
Right.
You know, they have, it's like we're the common folk, right? They're like immigration, gun control. They don't give a fuck. They're saying let all these people in as they fucking sit behind their fucking homes with fucking private security and fucking 12-foot fences. Oh, Feinstein, you know, wants to take the fucking guns away. Oh, that's fine. While she always has a fucking private security detail with fucking while they're strapped with Uzis.
Damn force.
You know, we're goddamn. We are the common folk, and that's how they treat us. That they always know better. Well, guess what, Pelosi, Feinstein, go fuck yourself because you don't.
Right.
You know, that's literally how I feel about it.
Did you serve in a war?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I've deployed quite a few times.
How many?
To Iraq and Afghanistan 7 times.
7 times.
7 times.
And those are the scariest phone calls.
Was it always voluntary or?
Actually, the ones.
How does that work? Is it voluntary? I mean, it's voluntary to get in, but is it voluntary to get deployed?
So the way I picked, you know, I have volunteered for every one of my times, but that was because the reason I did was because I knew my time was coming up. So I picked the slots that were available that would best suit the needs for me and my family. I see. You know, so, but I honestly, to be completely frank and honest with you, I've told this to a few people, and to them it made sense. Some people it didn't, but it's actually really, it sucks for my kids, you know, but it's beneficial to me and my wife. And the reason I say that is because, you know, before I get ready to go, man, it's like the honeymoon, you know, we're fucking like rabid, you know, everyone's in a good time, you know. Right, and I've been married for, you know, over a decade now. Yeah. So, and I've been married for over a decade now. Right. So, you know, marriage is not easy, but, you know, before I leave on deployment, man, we're having sex all the time. Things are good. And then I'm gone. Obviously, it sucks. But then when I come home again, it's like fucking it's back on, you know? Right. And it's like healthy for it, at least for me. I know it might not be for all marriages, but it's healthy for me and my wife, you know, because I'm home for a year or two, and then guess what? It's time for me to go again. And it keeps our marriage. Yeah, because
no one can put up with your fucking fruity ass.
I've got an incredible woman, I can tell you that, to put up with my bullshit. But it was good for me in my marriage. But no, I'm at the tail end of my career.
Now seven at a year a clip or what?
No. So mine were much shorter. Mine were sitting at 6 months. Okay. Each time.
Is it most of the time around that or?
Well, it all depends. Different branches go. I mean, shit. I got a brother-in-law who's in the Army, and we were in Iraq together, and at the same time, actually, believe it or not. And my brother-in-law is actually a childhood friend of mine, and you know, our buddy over there. What's his
Mike?
Mike, yeah. But he was there for God, man. He was there. His initial was for a year, and this is back in 2004 when the wars were, you know, full blown in Iraq. And he ended up getting extended. I think he was there for like 16 months, man. Jeez. You know, so the Marines typically do 8 months. I'm not sure about the Navy.
Now, okay.
The Air Force does 4. You know, they could. Well, it all depends, but they mostly do 6 to 8 months as well. Mostly 6 though. Okay. You
know, and then. Now, maybe there's something to that whole. Okay, I have one sensitive question, maybe.
All right,
and one that's a precursor to it. I think it might make sense nature-wise, or God, or universe, or whatever. I think maybe it might make sense nature-wise to have, in evolutionary standpoints. For people to be, you know, the man in the house to be around the family, and then instead of like, you know, back in the day we would go out into the fucking woods for 6 months and kill a bunch of shit and bring back some food and some money and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
maybe it's that same type of thing where like you have the closest of the family, and then the breadwinner or the military, whatever, goes out and comes back, where you have that break. So maybe there's something there.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but I mean, regardless, even if I didn't choose to go, I was going anyway.
Right.
The military, you don't have options, a lot of options in the military, But yeah, it worked for me, and I'm at the tail end of my career now, and I thought I was going to be done deploying and everything, but then I just moved here to California under the assumption that my days were done, and I found out that that's not going to be the fucking case.
Really?
And probably within the next 6 months, I'll be back in Afghanistan or Iraq, or Lord knows, hopefully we're not in another war. But
yeah, those are the shittiest. I can remember all 7 times, like him calling me. You get a call out of the blue, can't tell you where he is, can't tell you where he's gone, but he just calls and
Right.
He calls and you don't fucking know.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm going. I love you. If I don't talk to you again. And then you sit there and you wait. And you wait. And then you just put it out of your mind. And then you get a phone call. He's there.
Right.
And he's able to make a phone call.
yeah, I make a phone call and it shows up like a 20-digit number on people's phones. They're like, dude, where the fuck are you?
And it fucking sucks, Like, hey, he's like a brother to me, but yeah, dude, that shit's real. Like, and
well,
I have a high regard of
back.
respect for it, and that's why I'm so adamant when you see people that shit on the military or shit on that flag. It's like, fuck you, dude.
Oh yeah,
Like, you get to have this freedom. You get to fucking be here and live here and have opportunity, and you have the fucking gall to fucking desecrate it, or because you're fucking, your feelings are getting hurt because you don't have thick skin because you've been protected all your life because of him and everyone else in there.
Right.
Fuck you.
Right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and let me
That's my
tell you
little
something.
rant.
I am not one of those motherfuckers. You could ask anybody that knows me, man. I don't ever fucking talk about military shit. I don't tell people I'm in the military, unless they ask me what I do. I'm not one of those motherfuckers that wear T-shirts saying, fucking military shit. I don't do that because it doesn't need to be. One, I don't give a fuck. Honestly, I'm a very quiet person, But it does really upset me when I see people fucking like that Kaepernick motherfucker, man. Fuck that piece of shit. You want to talk about fucking inequality and all this shit when you're making $20 million a year? Fuck you. How about a Pat Tillman? That's who we should be fucking talking about.
Right.
Because it's not because he joined the fucking military. It might be to a little extent, but it's because what he stood for. He gave up a fucking lucrative contract, and made a sacrifice at a time when his country needed it its most at 9/11, after 9/11.
There's an example of manhood that's good, and there's an example of manhood that isn't, and that's one of those that is a good one.
Oh, fuck
and
yeah,
that's
man.
that's the fucked up part is that, and I can see it on a much lesser, and we can all see it on a daily basis, much less on big shit. But there are opportunities. As an example, I'm moving to New York in September. To really go for it, to really go for music and comedy and podcasting, or really I'm doing it now. Don't get me wrong, but I want to actually fucking do it, and the way to do it is be in LA or New York, and on a much lesser scale than that, it's easier to fantasize about being famous than it is to move to fucking New York and eat a shit sandwich for a number of months or years. And shoot for something, you know what I mean? The same thing goes. It's easier to have an idea of the principles, like we were talking about earlier, and then when it comes down to the decision to grab yourself by the balls and say, fuck it. I'm going to be a man in this instance. I'm going to shut my mouth, or I'm going to say something, or I'm going to mind my own business. It's easier to be immature than it is to be mature.
Or I'm not going to sit at home and say I would have.
Right.
Knowing that I've never been faced with that decision. I've been lucky. I've gotten the opportunity to quit a career.
Right.
And start something from scratch.
Right.
And be at the utter pinnacle of it. Right. Which is so fucking exciting.
Right.
But it was the scariest fucking thing in the world. Like,
right.
I have no clue after I walked out of that office what was going to happen.
Right.
Like, it was just, I'm done. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I went on a journey. And it's been amazing. 9 fucking places in 2 years I've lived. going from no debt to God knows how much debt.
Right.
Like, but I'm here.
Right.
And like, I can't, I would have in my second life. Fuck that. This is life today, baby. If you don't like what you have and you're not enthusiastic about waking up every morning, don't complain.
Right.
Do something about it.
Yeah.
It's scary, but
it's
worth it.
And
that's why I love you going to New York.
And it goes back to that same conversation we've been having. It's just that idea of manhood and maturity and all that stuff. And womanhood has its own drawbacks and its own benefits and its own everything. But I think our job is to instill that culture and that idea of what the fuck we're supposed to do, even if it means literally dying, like Pat Tillman. Even if it means literally dying and like, okay, it's amazing that we got to know, what's the guy's name who killed Bin Laden? But like,
Oh yeah.
But most of the time, the heroes who get shit done, you don't know the second in command in that. I mean, maybe you do, but like you don't know the guy who busted in the door so that homeboy could shoot him. You don't know the name. It's not just sacrificing your life; it's sacrificing your life and people knowing who you are.
Yeah.
No, it's people. There are people examples of manhood who have been president, who have been whatever, who said, "Fuck it, I'm going to make the right decision." Even though not only will I be anonymous, or I might even be a demon to people. I might be characterized as evil, but I'm willing to sacrifice it to do the right fucking thing.
Yeah.
And that's that shit that I have a responsibility, you, whether we have kids or whether it's just on social media or starting a fucking podcast, to instill that shit and continue it forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I listen to Jocko Willink, sometimes, and it's like, every time I listen to that motherfucker, I'm like, shit, yeah, okay, I gotta, oh, fuck, all right, and that's a good
having
thing
that
to
dude
have.
as a dad?
Exactly, but that's a
Holy
good thing
shit.
to have, to second guess yourself. And if we don't instill that shit and have the uncomfortable conversations and tell people like, no, this is a reality. You do have to man the fuck up. Yes, you can cry. It's not like we let the manhood, idea go so far that you can't fucking cry or be gay if you're gay. But like, be a fucking man.
I don't know.
You
I
know
told
what I
my
mean?
son he won't do either or. So I'm just throwing that out there. I still tell my boy, I said, boy, you will not fucking cry in front of me. If there's anything that gets me upset, it's when I see boys cry.
Now, in what instance?
Well, let's say,
So,
for
like,
example, okay, so my daughter, right? We do homework,
Right.
And this is primarily when she was younger. She'd get frustrated and she'd cry, and I'd tell her to stop fucking crying.
Okay.
Because for whatever reason, that just instills in me my whole life I've been, honestly, be completely honest, cries for pussies.
Okay.
And I'm not saying people can't cry and it's bad to cry, but what I'm saying is I don't want to see you fucking cry. I want to see you fucking do something about it to create a solution to the problem, whether it's a math problem or fucking problem in your marriage or problem in financially or your life, period.
Right. I'm not saying there's inappropriate times and there's appropriate times. Inappropriate reasons and appropriate reasons. Example, that's a good example. Someone who didn't get led on the team, on the basket, they didn't get picked for the fucking team. They also didn't work very hard to get it. They also haven't been playing ball in the off times at school, like that kid down the block who did get on the team because he worked like a son of a bitch to get on there.
Tears if you didn't bust your ass the whole way.
So there is, but I'm saying like when it comes to getting so far where there is not even a reason put behind it like you have. You've put logic behind it. You've put a lesson behind it.
Yeah.
Sometimes manhood and the way we kind of let it be for a long time, it seems that it got a little fucking crazy where gays can't be gays, or like, or you can't cry when shit gets real, or you don't understand why it would be inappropriate to cry in that instance, or you don't understand why. You know what I'm saying? Like the lesson behind it gets lost.
But let me ask you this. I don't know if you ever thought about this, but let's take it back, because I know the house that I grew up in, I was told not to cry and not to do this, and I was taught to be a man's man.
Right.
And I was taught to open up fucking the door for women and say,
Right.
yes, ma'am, no, sir, yes, sir. This is all stuff that was instilled from our grandparents, our parents, Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? It worked so far.
I think the vagaries of it, like I was saying, like the vagaries, I don't know if it's the right word, but, and this may be wrong,
Which is really funny.
but I think part of it is that idea that like,
Like, what's wrong with fucking masculinity?
Oh no.
That's
There
what
isn't.
I wanna,
There isn't anything wrong.
All these people now are fucking bashing it. Like, we should. I was reading something the other day. No shit, it was the news. I was getting my fucking haircut. It's a few months ago, and they had this fucking liberal feminist bitch on the fucking news. She's saying that she finds it offensive for men to open up the doors for her. I'm
right,
thinking
she's just a douchebag.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bitch? Like, seriously, like, what is? And I talked to several women who, obviously, I have girlfriends, and I called them up and I asked their thought on it. They're like, no, that's absurd.
Here's what I mean. The vagaries of fake masculinity get us in trouble. Here's an example. There are a lot of dudes back in the day and still today who don't get taught. Like, okay, so as an example, from their standpoint, I'm not saying it's right, but from their standpoint, they see a football player who gets a little too fucking handsy and doesn't in high school and doesn't understand, or not maliciously, but just doesn't understand. If she said no, calm the fuck down. Yeah, don't get drunk and rape this bitch. Right?
Yeah.
So that's a vagary of quote unquote masculinity. Now I've said it many times on the podcast, and I really genuinely believe this. That's not actual masculinity. Actual masculinity is secure enough in your balls to take a no, to take a rejection, instead of going, "Well, fuck you, you're ugly bitch anyway" on text. Exactly. You know what I mean? But people see that as the version of masculinity. So that is, I guess, a good example of masculinity getting misconstrued as this guy doesn't give a fuck. Who cares if she comes type of shit, right?
Or standing up to your buddy that's being a complete and utter douchebag and using and abusing the woman.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. So like I was saying, there's the bad examples, but it's still technically a part of the same culture.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Now, it may be a bad father or a bad example of it being taught, but it's still the same label. It's still the same moniker in a way.
That's
so,
interesting.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So, like, when it comes to the crying thing, we know.
That's because you're a fucking pussy.
You love your friend.
That's why I have little protectors like you.
No, I'm not saying it's bad to cry. I mean, I just personally, I teach my son, I don't like crying. I guess I have so much love and respect for the men that grew, that raised me, my father, my grandfather,
Right.
And they always taught me, I said, son, don't fucking cry, do something about it. And honestly, I'd never seen my grandfather cry.
Right.
I never saw my dad cry. My grandfather's the epitome of a fucking, he's passed now, but he's the epitome of an old school man, to where he never held my grandkids. Or my kids, he's never held babies. That was my grandmother's job. And no shit. This man would leave at 5 o'clock in the morning for work and wouldn't come back till 11 o'clock at night. But guess what? He put all his daughters through college, bought them all homes. He's an immigrant.
Right.
Came to this country with nothing.
Right.
And fucking, did he assimilate? You goddamn bet your ass he did. Right. But he worked his fucking dick off.
Right.
And he did very well for himself.
Right. Now that's an example of different roles. And I'm I absolutely am 100% agreeing. But I think throwing in a hug is not bad.
And I agree with you. Let me tell you.
I think working like a son of a bitch really fucking hard, and then saying, I love you, son, like a motherfucker.
And
you know what I mean?
Let me tell you something. I am not, like, with my kids, I fucking love them and adore them. I give my kids hugs and kisses. I call them all the time because they're not out here with me in California. I'm doing another 6 months away from my family doing this shit,
right?
Until they get a chance to move out here.
You have the dichotomy. Now you look at my grandfather, who was a drill sergeant for the Marines. So if you know anything,
yeah, of course,
you know who those guys are.
Absolutely.
And he is the biggest emotional, like, crier you've ever seen later in life. Like, shit happens, shit goes wrong. It's my grandmother that's stoic, and he'll bawl like a baby. It's fucking hilarious. He doesn't do it in front of people.
Yeah. For an old Marine to do that?
But he does it, and it's just so different. Because when I grew up, he was just stoic. Like, we'd walk in, and you'd look up at the key rack, and if the paddle wasn't up on the key rack, one of the grandkids fucked off and already got paddled. So your ass, that disciplined you. Yeah. You didn't do anything. You hope to God that it was still up there, and if it was still up there, you took a little bit more risk, a little bit more, fucking around and mischievousness, and then all of a sudden that paddle came down and one of us got it, and then we didn't fuck around the rest of the time we were at Grandpa's.
Lord
like
forbid
that's
you
how it
spank
was.
kids now.
Right.
Jesus.
Right.
Spank them in Walmart. I don't give a fuck. I'll spank my kids in Walmart.
It was so interesting. It was so interesting watching Kevin Hart's newest thing, his newest special. Something's wrong with him. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's drugs. Maybe he's just reaching a certain level. I don't know. Maybe. But I think he had this, and he did it in London, which is the epicenter. I know we all think it's L.A. or San Francisco. No. London is the epicenter of political correctness. It's creepy. Yeah. He was saying jokes about, hitting his kids or whatever, and everyone was just silent, like you could feel it in the. And maybe it's just because they take in comedy a little differently. You know what I mean? Just like in Japan, when when there's wrestling in Japan, they don't cheer. They silently appreciate, and then at the end clap. You know what I mean? Like it's that same thing. So maybe they take in comedy differently, but there was I could feel it. There was something wrong. It wasn't. Everybody was like, "Am I allowed to laugh at this?" You know what I mean? Like there was a weird feeling.
Well, there's a reason why the Europeans have a fucking goddamn reputation. They do. That's just my opinion, though.
When he had the joke about beating his kids or whatever, I was like, "Oh shit." Some crazy ass fucking media personality is gonna find this and crucify this guy in American politics.
Did they? Because I didn't see.
Well, no,
not yet. I just watched the politics. I automatically thought of Adrian Peterson.
Oh yeah,
beating his kid with the switch, and I'm like, oh shit, Kevin Hart's going to be the next one that's sacrificed.
I don't think he will be because he's already had he's also had people already try to get him on shit, and he slipped off. So he'll be all right.
Talking about with the gay shit.
Yeah.
And let me guess what the fuck is wrong with what he said? Nothing.
He said he doesn't want his kid. He talked about a feeling internally,
Did you just say
which
that?
is natural.
Say what?
That you didn't want your son to be gay?
Fuck yeah, I wouldn't want my son to be gay.
Yeah, it's natural.
And I'm not saying,
it's
not saying it's just natural for a man, in my opinion.
And that doesn't mean if he comes out and he's actually gay that you fucking disown him.
Absolutely
but you
not.
Be honest with your belly, the animal inside. If I have a son, I want him to be a
decision-
fucking dick slayer, dude. I want him to be a fucking.
It's the decision on the adoption website. When it comes down to it. What do you want? You want your kid to be straight. You want him to be masculine. You want him to be a stud.
Right.
Yeah. I want
Ultimately,
him to enjoy
that's
pussy
what you want.
like his old man.
But you'll love him however he is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yet, you're wrong for wanting that because you're speaking your truth. Dude. Motherfucker, when you have a kid, you want him to be a stud and you want him to be normal.
I feel like that's why Tracy Morgan can't get back to where he was for me. Because I feel like he got in trouble and he sucked the proverbial white dick that gave him the job. When he got in trouble 20 or 15 years ago, and I love Tracy too, he's hilarious. But when he got in trouble, ultimately, he said, "I'm sorry, Big White Daddy. I apologize. Can I please keep my job?" That's what he did. And Kevin Hart said, nah, fuck you. I already apologized 10 fucking years ago for this. I'm not apologizing again.
That's what I love about
That's what
Kevin
I like
Hart.
about
What
Kevin.
did Tracy Morgan? I'm not a big comic guy.
Tracy Morgan said
shit.
pretty much the same thing about 10 years ago when he was on 30 Rock, and everybody, including Tina Fey, who I love, were like, we're appalled, Tracy.
Did he say the same? He didn't want a gay son?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, I think Morgan went a little bit further and said he'd kill him.
Yeah, but he was, again,
I know it was a joke. I'm not saying he was wrong.
But that's
for it.
exactly.
I'm saying it was a joke.
Right.
Was
we
it
all
out
talk
of taste?
about some of the nastiest shit in the world. That's what stand-up is. So anyway, that's why I feel like mentally, I feel like, see, Tracy, we already know you can be bought. We already know when like Patrice used to talk about when you owe. We gave you this job, like Godfather. We gave you this job. We're gonna knock in the middle of the night, and you're gonna need to take this bullet out of this kid. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna knock on the door, and you need to apologize. We know you can be bought, and it creeps me out. But like Kevin has proved, even though he's apologized 10 years ago, he didn't. Like he even said it. Like it doesn't. I'm not fucking apologizing again. You've gotten all you can.
Up for himself.
He stood up for himself, and Tracy hasn't kind of done that.
No, that's what I like about Mike Tyson.
Exactly.
He can't be bought.
The motherfucker cannot be bought.
Dude, that last one, have you listened to him and Joey Diaz?
No.
Oh, man, that one's a good episode. He was on The Church of What's Happening Now.
I gotta
and
listen to that.
he was just telling like true stories.
Right.
And it was just one of the stories. He's just like, man, I was making $30 million a clip, $90 million a year. I did whatever the fuck I wanted. I pulled up to a stop sign. I looked at a chick. I said, "Get the fuck in the car," and she got in the car.
Right.
And just, he's telling stories back in the day.
Right.
And the biggest thing is he talks about his kids, and he's like, "My son wants to box." Fuck that.
Right.
If my son met me when I was his age, I would have fucking murdered him.
Right.
He's like, he can't fuck with me. Like,
Right.
you have no idea what type of animal I was. And he starts getting real, and you're like, yeah, Mike, we know. We saw.
See, this is the thing about this podcast is like, I had to make a decision. I know it's a small thing, and we got to start wrapping up because I got to get down to fucking Ventura soon. But there was this thing when I started getting ready to do this, and I've done hip hop, and I'm half Puerto Rican, and I could get away with it or whatever, technically, to some people. But I was like, am I gonna publicly say nigger? Like, am I gonna allow myself to
Dude,
use
I
the N-word?
just thought in my head, I'm like,
and I was like,
when's Pete gonna say the N-word?
and I was like, well, I said it earlier, but I was like, I have to make this decision. I reached out to a rapper friend, a black guy, and although he's part French too, but anyway, I reached out to him to like ask him. He never got back to me, and I just had to kind of look in my balls and say like, okay, if I want to say that's really the only thing that I mean, because I would literally make jokes about molestation. Like, that's worse than saying the N-word. So, like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to be all into the free speech or all out. I don't want to be bought. I don't want to be fucking Tracy Morgan. I don't want to have her. And I am putting it out on recording for years, to like, all right, this may bite me in the ass, and I don't give a fuck. The thing about, and this is something,
Norton.
Patrice talked about it as well. I'm sorry, Patrice O'Neal fan, whatever. But like, the thing that fucked Paul Rubens, the thing that fucked Pee Wee Herman and Kramer was Michael Richards, was that they had a separate persona, and all of a sudden the mask slipped. Pee Wee Herman, I'm just the kid, kooky guy, who makes kid shows, jerking off in the theater. So if you start from here's who I am already, you can't get caught being who you are. Jim Norton. He's been talking about taking shit on the chest and saying the N-word and all kinds of foul shit for years. He can't get in trouble because you bought this fucking package. You came out to see me. You hired me at Sirius XM knowing what I've been doing. So this is part of, I had to kind of look at my balls and be like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to be myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just going to be myself, and, yeah.
No, that's cool, man. I get it. Just it's scary. In my opinion, it's scary when you think about it, man, because the way the society is now, man, you say a certain thing,
right,
and you're fucked.
On that note, let's
career.
fuck ourselves. Let's, some good racial jokes. Throw them out for Pete.
Fuck, I don't know.
Well,
man.
on the last note on that, I will say it's not that scary. It's scary, but I am good enough at it, and I'm funny enough doing it, and I'm a good enough singer, and I like, as much as I want people to like me, I have always been an anti-rebellious motherfucker. I've always been a rebellious motherfucker, and so I've been grabbing my balls again.
I feel like you're just doing an affirmation in the mirror. I know,
right?
I'm strong enough. Gosh darn it!
I do look like Stuart Smalley, but like I'm good enough to do it, and I'm willing to fucking stand the waves as long as the fucking stupid Facebook and Instagram stop, shadow banning me for doing what I'm doing. As long as there is a market for me. There is that's why Trump fucking won.
Oh, absolutely.
Because enough people, even though LA and news organizations
because
and
San
Francisco were
most
like,
Americans fucking are
even
thinking.
though people were like, no, he's the devil, no one's gonna fight. I mean, people were like, oh, Hillary's gonna win for sure. All of a sudden, boom, nope, uncorrect, motherfucker, and Trump's going to win again.
Yep.
And that same thing is that there's some reason people are enjoying this podcast enough because because there's a wrench for every nut, there's a market for it, and because I'm not going to be bought. I'm willing to apologize if something I actually, if I posted a meme that was like, I should have thought of that before. But I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not going to apologize. Like,
but
suck my dick.
I didn't intentionally go out to offend you. I shared something that I thought was funny.
Right, exactly. Well, sometimes I have. Sometimes I have.
Well, that's the problem
Sometimes
with
I've
today,
been
too.
intentionally
If it offends you,
skin.
or how about fucking not look at the website anymore, or not pick up the magazine,
or don't follow
like
me.
what the fuck is wrong with people these days?
Right.
It's fucking baffling. We live in a society of a bunch of fucking faggots and pussies, man.
Right.
But
so we'll
fuck, man.
Do you have any good race jokes?
Actually, you know what? I heard one that was so fucking funny the other day, but I cannot remember it for the life of me, man. I really don't,
Bitching out.
No, dude, it was so funny. But God, maybe y'all could tell some while I think about it. But man, I
can't think of anymore. I think I've
so
told on mine.
fucking hard.
I told the Boondock Saints one.
You know what? Let me grab my phone. I might have to look it up. Because, dude, it was so funny. It was hilarious.
I love my podcast. Do it. Oh, that's fucking funny.
So you're heading down to Ventura, huh?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I wish I was off tomorrow. I would have went down.
Is there a Chipotle around here? There probably is.
Why do you?
Because I like it.
Dude, you are what's wrong. Like,
I'm problematic. Is
dude,
that what you're saying?
Motherfucker, we have the best taquerias in
you.
all the United States.
Hole in the walls suck balls. Give me
you
fucking.
Suck balls.
There's a lot of rice.
Because you
I
have
want that cilantro lime rice, you cocksuckers. I don't want no fucking nasty peel off looking rice. Okay, I don't want no generic
you do not
refried
have a
beans.
refined palate.
Fuck. Well, maybe, but fuck, Mexican food is overrated as a motherfucker. Mexican food is overrated as a motherfucker.
Dude,
corn tortillas, suck a dick with corn tortillas.
Oh my God,
they're disgusting.
Wrong.
Fucking cardboard cock-sucking bullshit.
Strip malls
disgusting.
With Chick-fil-A's and Chipotle.
Here's another reason why.
McDonald's.
Here's another reason why. I actually work with Mexicans. Mexicans do not give a fuck about sanitization.
Neither do I.
Well, you're part of the problem then. You listen to this motherfucker.
Extra grease?
It's fucking ridiculous.
No, wash your hands. I'm saying the fucking sanitization liquid. I'm saying
tougher.
No.
Get a tougher gut.
Fucking sanitization liquid on your goddamn rags before you wipe down the fucking tables. Don't just put some water on it and just assume.
I hopped in his car for the first time. Was it this morning or last night in 13 years?
Was it disgusting?
Right? I thought I almost caught syphilis just sitting on the fucking seat. I'm not even shitting you. It's fucking ridiculous.
And not just from his dick, right?
No, it's just fucking goddamn. Just touch the door handle.
Man, I was fucking this guy yesterday. I can't believe the way his dick tasted like AIDS.
No, I can't find the joke,
right,
but I heard it the other day, and it was so fucking funny, man. And I told myself, I was like, you got to remember that shit. But obviously, I forgot. So,
how about a story?
I think he's got to wrap it up. I don't really have any stories.
My dad texted me this morning because he knew we were together.
Right.
Well, tell him what your mom was. It your mom or your dad texted you yesterday and said, make sure y'all don't go to jail?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's the type of shit we used to pull.
My mom made sure we don't get arrested. But my dad texted me while we were on the course this morning, and he's like, I woke up thinking of... Hold on, I'll just read the text, and then I'll tell the backstory. So he texted me this morning because he knew we were together. We lived down... So the way we met, it's like 10 o'clock at night. He's outside my fucking window. I'm 9th grade in high school, and he's with my best friend from grammar school. And he calls me on my cell phone. I wake up, and he says, come to the window. So I come to the window. I shake my ass and my little whitey tighties at him, right? He throws a fucking pine cone at the fucking window, shatters my upstairs window.
Jesus.
I jump in my fucking bed. My dad comes tearing through the fucking house. What happened? What happened? We blamed it on the fucking wind because it was windy outside. So my dad believed that the fucking pine cone fell off the fucking tree and hit the window just right up until about 2 years ago. This is 17 years ago?
Yeah, something like that, close to 20 years.
So that's how I met him, because he was sneaking out because he's such a good little boy.
Right.
So then, of course, my dad texted me this morning while we're out. He came to work with me this morning. And what did he say? He said, where is it? I woke up, oh, here it is. wrong text messages. I woke up this morning. It will be barricades and flashing lights in front of my house with reindeers humping. This kid decides to go steal all the Christmas decorations and all of the construction fucking signs in the neighborhood one
Makes
night.
sense.
And he barricades our front door with a fucking road closed sign that was the size, and it wasn't just a single front door. It was like the double wide,
Right.
you know? Barricades it, fucking reindeers humping in front of it. This is during Christmas. And rings the doorbell and runs. So, you know, open the door, fucking doors barricaded. I mean, a ton of shit. What's my dad do? Calls the police.
Right.
Fucking police come. They're like in the bushes across the street, down the street, fucking hiding. And they had to book everything into evidence.
Jesus.
Yeah, some dumb shit,
Just
man.
stupid
that
little
was
pranks.
that was young kid shit, man. We were young, but you know, we had a good time.
I've been in a high-speed police chase with him before.
Yep.
Twice with our mutual friend. His nickname's Bad News, for good reason. But yeah, high-speed pursuit. We both luckily got out of the car before the cops really got him. Like, came down the street. We jumped out. Bad News kept going. 6 cop cars. Boop, boop, boop.
Oof.
High-speed pursuit for, what, maybe 3 minutes?
Yeah, maybe that. Something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, dude. Fucking silly shit.
Well, good
But
for you.
we were. I was the good Catholic school boy.
This
He was the
guy he's
public
talking
school
about,
fucking-
right? So I went to jail with him. No shit, man. We had to turn ourselves in because there were warrants for our arrest. And me and Bad News, we turn ourselves in, and we're standing in those fucking like the pods or whatever you'd call it, to where you fucking give them your jewelry and your wallet. So you're locked in this fucking circular fucking pod, and you turn your shit in. And this is this kid's mentality, man. So we're facing 4 felonies, right? Like we're fucked. And I'm standing right next to him, but we're in separate pods, and they have holes to where you could hear and see each other. And he hands this female cop the fucking wallet, right? His wallet. And he had some money in it. And he looks at her, and she goes, all my money better fucking be in there when I leave here, right? If we weren't in enough shit. Then we go to the cell where we have this 50-year-old cop that's taking our fucking shoelaces off, right? Well, my buddy Bad News is wearing fucking Birkenstocks, right? And the cop goes,
that is the whitest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Going to jail with Birkenstocks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But let me tell you.
Beating the absolute lips off of this kid.
Let me tell you, but this kid, his name's Bad News for a reason, man.
Yeah.
You talk about, I mean, this motherfucker, the best hands I've ever seen. I mean, he knocked motherfuckers out, left dudes who were 3 times bigger than him. But this cop's fucking, he takes off my shoelaces and he looks at fucking Bad News. He goes, those are the ugliest fucking shoes I've ever seen in my life. My boy doesn't skip a beat. He goes, well, don't fucking look at him then. Just like that. To the fucking cop. Dude, we're already in enough shit,
Oh,
you know?
my God. Bad
And,
News.
but yeah, that's
He
the
lives
type
in
of
New York. I'm going to hook you up.
Yeah, he does, dude.
All right.
Yeah.
I need someone to show me how to fight.
That motherfucker, dude.
He'll tune you up.
No, not like that,
Yeah,
goddammit.
man.
I'm saying take me, to a gym.
When I was living in New York and I was with him, he's still got that fucking fire in his belly. Oh man, he's a big fucking dude too. His arms are probably the size of my waist right
Well,
now.
everyone look forward to the Bad News episode. We'll name it Bad News if he's willing.
I don't know if he'll talk to you though. He could be a pretty
get
big
him on.
fucking
We'll get him
asshole. You know.
Well, anyway, I gotta wrap
Absolutely.
up. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being on. I really appreciate it, and thank you for your
For
service.
sure. Thank you, man.
Sincerely.
Appreciate that. Thank
There's
you.
a lot of people, I think, who I know from the standpoint of, Bay Area. No, there are a lot of motherfuckers who really appreciate your service. You know what I mean?
That's cool. Man, they got a lot of good people
who
in California.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this,
He's
I just
just
like
a
I said, I
peasant
just
doing
moved
what he's
out here.
supposed to.
I've only been out here for a few months now, and I've met a lot of nice people, and I'm really learning a lot of. I'm trying to really gauge and to understand why people out here think the way they do and think about the rest of the country and think about Trump supporters and shit like
Look
that.
at you growing.
No, and honestly, and that's what we need as a fucking country.
But that's what this, not to be self-centered, but like that's what this podcast is goal is like, let's bridge this shit, humanize everybody. I've had Proud Boys on and I've had drag queens on. calm the fuck down.
We got to
everybody.
live together.
And
Let's find humanity.
Exactly, and it's working a lot. It's
Yeah,
growing.
it
A lot of people, you know,
really does.
Yeah, so I appreciate you.
No,
coming on
thank
and being
you for giving me the voice. Appreciate it.
And yeah, everybody support this at patreon.com/conservatish. You can get fucking just give me your goddamn money. And then also you can follow me at Peter_Feliciano on Instagram. And share this with your less offendable friends, nigger. And
That was a hard ER at the end there.
hey, you know what? I do whatever the fuck I want. Suck my dick. I love black people. Anyway, it's not even black people that pisses off. Really, it's white people, white women
That don't have black friends.
Thank you. And I love you all very much. And have a lovely night. Bye.
Good deal.